Warning. You are entering Open Lines Friday. For today, anything goes. Thank you for your cooperation.
All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. Open Lines Friday. You know how it works. Anybody can join through Discord, and the link is in the description of the video. And I'm going to be posting it in the chat. Shout out to the people in the chat: the Boxing Sicario, the Quacks. Who else do we have here? Dark Hado, HJ92, Alfredo Contreras, Bray, Rupt Speed, Ghost, Grim Reaper, Team Batman. Yeah, Team Batman Boxing. All right, guys, let's get this party started. Oh, before we begin, just to thank everybody who joined the membership program. The names are right there. And also, we are reopening Patreon. And this is going to be helping us create more documentaries. We're already working on a documentary. So whatever happens with Patreon, the documentary will be coming out. But if you want to support us via Patreon, that way YouTube cannot take away, what is it, like 33% of your donations. Well, anyways, like some rando says, let's fucking go. Let's go to Discord.
Pounds to 126, and he didn't have any power.
We're live.
Yo,
we're live. We're live. What are you guys talking about?
Right now we're just talking about old Mexican fighters. Right now, Salvador Sanchez, Alfredo Gomez, and who's Puerto Rican, and a little bit of history in that area.
All right, all right. Well, we can talk about that. Anything goes. I don't really have any topics, so go ahead.
He was asking me if I thought that there's the rumor that Zarate was sick when he fought Wilfredo Gomez, if that would have made a difference. And all I said to that was, I think it might have been a more competitive fight, but I don't know if anybody could beat Wilfredo Gomez, I'm sorry. If anybody could beat Wilfredo Gomez at 122 pounds.
122, yeah, no. 126?
Well, I mean, he couldn't get a knockout at anything past 122. All the fights that went the distance in his career were all above 122 pounds.
Right.
So I don't think anybody beats him at 122. And there's been some really, what's the other thing we're discussing? There have been some really great fighters at 122 in our lifetime, but they just don't beat him.
Isn't he the best Puerto Rican boxer of all time?
Well, that's a good one.
I think it is. I thought that he was, and there was no doubt about it.
Well, because he could definitely box along with all that power. And unlike Rosario, he was consistent at 122. Because remember, after he moved up to fight Salvador Sanchez and he lost, he came back down and had a few more title defenses by knockout. So he was definitely consistent at that weight class. So, but in the other multiple weight classes, he didn't perform well. Whereas my favorite Puerto Rican fighter of all time, Trinidad, was consistent at welterweight at 154. And for one of his few fights, because he only had a few fights, maybe 3 total fights at 160 pounds, he was consistent until he met Hopkins. And then he kind of, after that, his whole career it didn't go sideways. He just lost interest, didn't stay active, wasn't training hard. but at his peak, all the way up from 147 to 160, there was no other welterweight in the division at that time that was going to beat Trinidad at that time, other than Bernard Hopkins. Winky Wright wasn't there yet.
You mean which weight, at 160 or in any of those three divisions? Like, are you talking
about Trinidad? I'm saying at 160 at that time, the only middleweight that I think would have.
Nope.
I don't think Joppy didn't beat him. I don't think Keith Holmes would have beat him. And there was really nobody else out there that was. I mean, I don't think Robert Allen would have beat him. I don't think any of those other contenders. I don't think Antoine Eccles would have beat him.
No, the division wasn't stacked. The division wasn't stacked. But there was a reason why he chose Joppy instead of Keith Holmes. The size. Keith Holmes was a big middleweight. Even Hopkins kind of struggled in that fight. He won the fight, but he struggled. And then he chose Joppy because he was a small guy. I heard that even at that time, Joppy apparently had been like destroyed in sparring by Sugar Shane Mosley, who was a fucking welterweight.
Okay.
That's what I heard. I don't know. That's a long time ago.
I hadn't heard that one yet, so I'd have to go back and look at some research on that. But it doesn't surprise me. Shane Mosley was a boogeyman at that point in time. Nobody wanted to fight him, and it goes back to when he ended Zach Padilla's career in a sparring match by detaching his retina, and he got a stigma that nobody wanted to fight him after. Remember, he had to be number one contender for quite some time for Philip Holiday, of all people, to give him a shot. Nobody else would at lightweight.
Right.
So, and then when he got the title, nobody wanted to unify with him.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, Mosley is one of the best lightweights of all time. I don't think this.
Yeah, I have to agree. He may not have unified. He may not have beaten other big name fighters, but at that weight, first of all, when he won the title, he was at his peak. He's 27, 28 years old.
Side of the head, did he?
What's this?
We got.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, Mosley smacked Mayweather, didn't he? Rung his bell.
Yeah, he did. And that was a shot Mayweather. I mean, that shot Mosley.
Yeah.
So imagine what a prime Mosley would have done at his best weight of 135.
Yeah, that's after Mosley had fought at 154.
Yep.
Didn't really do much. He beat Vargas, but I mean, Vargas was shot as well.
True. He was just less shot.
I think he lost the first fight. He should have lost the first fight. No? Something.
Who, Mosley?
Yeah. And then
there was a clash of heads that started a major swelling around Vargas's eye, and Mosley kept teeing off on it, and they stopped the fight because of that. Now, what caused the swelling, I don't know, because I believe it's a TKO on Mosley's record. So if it would have come from a headbutt, they would have gone to the cards. Right. And so if there was any clash of head, elbow, or anything other than the fist, he missed it, and Mosley just capitalized on it. So.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. But Mosley, he didn't really. I always felt like he failed at 154. Just those losses to Winky Wright. Then he went back down, rejuvenated his career, I guess, in a way. That Margarito win, and then he got that Mayweather fight.
Right. Well, he had some stuff in between. He moved up, fought Oscar, lost to Winky. Went back down to welterweight. Went back down to welterweight with nothing impressive. It was the Vargas fights that actually reignited his career, because the first one was competitive, but the second one, he completely owned Vargas. Remember, Vargas may have been shot, but Vargas was still in his 20s. So it wasn't like Vargas was old.
No, I know. No. He wasn't age-wise. He wasn't old, but after the Trinidad fight, he was never the same.
Right. Well, you and I both know that it was the wear and tear and how he lived outside the ring that caught up to him.
Oh, probably.
And he had a lot of amateur fights. And I think his amateur record was like 100 wins and 5 losses. And he's fighting guys like David Diaz and Terrence Cawthon. I think he fought DeMarcus Corley. So he fought some really good amateurs. I'm sure he got plenty of sparring out in L.A. against pro fighters, even though he was a teenager. So, I mean, that's a hypothetical. I don't have the proof to back that one up, but I think that wear and tear, along with the way he lived his life, he was getting money real quick, and he was living high on the hog. Because he was a skinny welterweight when he turned pro, but he went to 154 really quickly, and he stayed there. And I think that, he was also 19, so his body was probably growing. but I don't think he lived anywhere near disciplined life outside of the ring, and that caused his weight to.
I think he liked Mexican food too much. He even admitted that he loved eating.
He did.
So, and the Mexican food,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that good for you. A lot of it. But going on to Sugar Shane Mosley, I don't even think he beat De La Hoya in the second time. I'm sure you guys disagree. I think BDA also disagrees with me.
I have got to go back and rescore that one all the way through. It's on my spreadsheet of things to do for fights to rescore. So I will sit down eventually and get to that and come up with a decision. What I did was I watched it for entertainment because I was still in the service, so I missed it live. Went back and watched it for entertainment and was disappointed compared to the first fight. Neither fighter wanted to take the same risks. You could see they didn't want to take those risks. You could see when they could see a punch coming, how they wouldn't really wince, but they would pull back. They would hesitate a little bit because they didn't want to put themselves through what they went through the first fight again. Neither one of them did.
Yeah, that first fight, that was a welterweight, and it was insane. Yeah, that fight.
Oh, it was incredible fight. It really was. It really showed how good Mosley was. Now, some people might say that Mosley was on Balco at that time, and I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but he did take an enormous amount of power all the way up. Matter of fact, his punching power got better at 147. So, he was beating people at lightweight, but he was accumulation of shots that he was knocking them out with. And at welterweight, he's knocking out Antonio Diaz and Shane Taylor with one shot. Now, neither one of those guys are world beaters, but both of them were very, very tough men that took good punches from everyone else but Shane Mosley. So either Shane really is one dynamic puncher, or that may have been when he was taking the bet. Now, I also think there's a genuineness to Shane Mosley. Here's what I mean by that. When they asked him if he was taking Balco, he said yes. I believe he went in there and someone said, or he either went in and bought it, or someone brought it to him and said, here's a supplement to make you better, and he just took it. I don't think he knew any different what it was. I don't think he took it for any purpose to try and cheat. I just think that when someone finally said, did you take this? This is illegal. He went, oh, yeah, well, I took that. I didn't know it was illegal. And I think he's that, I don't want to say dense. I think he's that gullible. And I don't mean that in a negative term. I just don't think he pays attention to that kind of stuff.
Wasn't Mosley getting injections in the abdomen?
I
think he admitted to that.
I know he admitted to taking Balco. I don't know if the extent of how he took it.
Well,
if I remember correctly, if I may interject, he was taking the injections and the cream, the clear they used to call it, which was a cream that you put on your skin and it absorbs it and it raises testosterone.
Okay, so he was not getting injections according to the best of your knowledge, BDA?
No, I think both. I think he was doing the clear and the injections, I think.
I mean,
and wasn't the cream a way to counterbalance the epitestosterone to testosterone level? So
I don't know.
Okay, because when you're talking about the cream, that kind of goes into some of the stuff that Max Kellerman talked about off of Thomas Hauser's article to try and balance like this is how Floyd got away with whatever he was doing because his epitestosterone level was so low he should have had a vagina.
Jesus.
Well, he's here. He was all right. So, quick science lesson: most males are 1-to-1 testosterone to epitestosterone. The leaner you are, the possible higher your testosterone level may be, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission will accept up to 4-to-1 ratio. Floyd's testosterone to epitestosterone level was 0.8-to-1. That's physically impossible.
Damn.
And so there's supplements you can take to balance out your epitestosterone so you don't get caught, because if you're taking these performance-enhancing drugs, your testosterone is going to go through the roof. And that was one of the flags that was going off, and the reason why USADA was granting these immediate waivers.
Okay, I see. Well, with the Quack says they have video of Shane taking EPO on Conte's office.
Okay, there's more about it than I know about. Apparently, the whole thing about the PEDs was that we knew Mosley did take them. He admitted to it. Apparently, he knew what he was taking. I'm learning that today. That he knew what he was doing. But the last part of it was the fact that I think that was the reason why his punching power got so augmentedly stronger at 147 because he was knocking people out. He was beating them up though. He wasn't knocking them out like he was at 147. So his punching power got better when he moved up.
Well, what are you saying then about Pacquiao? Like, what does that mean? Because I mean, his power also increased, right? As he was moving up in weight. Well, maybe not that much, but he did keep his power. So,
no, a second, I lost you.
Yeah. So Pacquiao moved up in weight. He kept his power. So, are you saying that he might have been taking something? No, I think Chief is lost. He said,
Are you there?
"Yeah, can you hear me?"
Missed everything you just said though.
Okay, no, because you were saying that
he
Mosley
heard
kept.
Pucho, but
What's that?
he heard everything you said, but he's pretending that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
No.
that I love to respond to anything. So if I
No. You were saying that Shane Mosley, like you said, that he was on something because his power actually increased as he moved up in weight. So I'm asking you, what do you think about Pacquiao's power? How he kept it, or maybe some even claim that his power even got better as he moved up in weight. What do you think about that?
So the difference there is, like I mentioned before, you had Antonio Diaz and Shannon Taylor, who weren't great fighters, but were extremely tough guys, and Mosley knocks them down easily with one punch at a time and stops them rather quickly, right? Given none of them were first-round knockouts, but I remember in the first round, he did a double jab and a right hand to the head, and Taylor just crumbled like a ton of bricks. I've never seen him hurt like that before, and I'd seen him fight a couple times. He was tough with a good chin. Manny was beating people up through it. The only one he really starched was a shot Hatton, and it was a shot Ricky Hatton. I don't want to take anything away from Manny Pacquiao.
Was he shot though?
Well,
Yeah,
let me rephrase. He was coming off the Mayweather. I'll put it this way: he knocked Ricky Hatton into cocaine addiction. We'll put it that way.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's.
I think it was just a good punch, man.
This?
Yeah, go ahead.
He may not have been shot.
I'll
retract that statement. He may not have been shot, but he was definitely shot after that fight. He may not have been shot going into it. So I'll retract that. But what I'm saying is, that's the only person he really blew out. Barrera, Morales, all those guys at lower weights, Diaz, these were all attrition fights. Cotto was an attrition fight. He was knocking him down a lot, but we'd seen Cotto hurt before. So.
But I mean, he did drop Mosley, even though he didn't stop it. But remember that knockdown? That was fucking crazy. That was impressive.
It was impressive.
Yeah, you know what? People forget. Well, not forget, but I forget. Yeah, I think that's the right word. I think people forget that Pacquiao shouldn't even have been at that weight in the first place.
True.
Pacquiao and Mayweather are always going to be compared because they're contemporaries, and they were the best fighters of their generation. But Pacquiao really. The only reason he moved up, if people remember, is because De La Hoya was supposed to rematch Mayweather in 2008. Mayweather threw a wrench in the works by retiring. So HBO had to scramble for a fight to make in December. And they said, you know what? Why not Pacquiao? Pacquiao, who was fighting at lightweight at the time, he said, yeah, I'll move up. And that's what started Pacquiao's foray above 135, but really he could have stayed at 135, and there were plenty of good fights to make at 135. You still had Marquez there. They could have done the rubber match there. You had John Guzman, who was undefeated. You had Edwin Valero, Juan Diaz, Corrales, Freitas. I mean, come on, it was just
the one thing about that Nassim Richardson mentioned is because when he met Pacquiao in between fights, he said that man, like, his calves were enormous and his fist was rather large for a man that weighed in like that. He says it's not a surprise to me that he weighs in a welterweight. He said it was a surprise that he was making featherweight and lightweight. That's what he said. Now, the only thing I've got to go on to back that up is if you look at all of his weigh-ins when he was fighting at junior featherweight. I don't know about lightweight because he only had one real fight there. But when you're looking at those two, he was putting on almost 10 pounds overnight. So technically, you could say he was a weight bully. He's one of my favorite fighters. I'm not going to sit here and try and denounce anything about Manny Pacquiao, but his detractors, if they did their research, would probably say that. So if he's putting on 10 pounds overnight, then should he have actually been training more towards lightweight and junior welterweight to begin with?
Right.
That's a good question. I mean, because when he fought Marquez, in 2008, the rematch. He did. I mean, it was a taxing fight for both the guys, but I do remember it was one of the few times I'd seen Pacquiao tired, really laboring in there. And they said, I remember they were saying back then that, oh, it's because, making 130 is starting to take its toll on him. Hence why he moved up to 135 right afterwards. But, I mean, Pacquiao, if you look at his body, 2003, 2004,
Yeah.
he was ripped, but he had a Bruce Lee type body. He was just simply ripped. By the time he was fighting Marquez in 2008, 40 years after their initial matchup, the guy had traps. His biceps were a little bigger. Of course, the calves remained as big as ever. And I remember, people will tell you that anyone that's taking any type of PED, like testosterone or steroids, whatever, usually the traps will develop faster because of the receptors that are near that place, region of the body or something like that. Maybe Jimmy, if he jumps in, could explain that better. And so I always find it suspect that he developed those traps. But let's face the facts. 90% of these guys are probably on something. And of course, we all know his contemporary, Floyd Mayweather. The guy was getting ripped as he aged. I mean, that's abnormal.
At the age of 30, Mayweather got more dense. He got bigger. Right? I'm sorry?
How old was he? Well, how old was he when he fought Canelo? 35, 36?
36.
He was ripped. Look at him at 140 and his first years at 147 when he fought Charme Mitchell and Zab Judah and Baldomir. He wasn't as ripped.
Nope.
By the time he's fighting Robert Guerrero in 2013, he was visibly ripped. And I'm thinking, come on, what do you guys think that?
He's got cannonballs for shoulders. He's got traps now. His head got bigger. His voice got deeper, and this all happened in the decade of him being 30. Like from when he fought De La Hoya to when he fought Guerrero. So he was 30 when he fought De La Hoya. He was in his 30s when he fought Guerrero. So in the same decade, his head got bigger, his muscles got bigger, his voice got deeper, his stamina got better. He never really got tired, but he was able to push himself further. He didn't even break a sweat almost as the fight went on. And these performance-enhancing drugs that supposedly these guys are on, they're not anabolic steroids with testosterone and hormones. They're things that increase your stamina. And by doing so, your testosterone, right. And in doing so, your testosterone does increase. And when your testosterone increases, you do get stronger, physically stronger. So,
yeah.
He couldn't hurt anybody before, and then all of a sudden, every time he pops a guy with the right hand, everybody's backing up and going, "Ooh, I don't want to get hit with that again." So,
can I say? I heard you guys were talking about Mosley earlier.
Yeah,
I'll say something controversial. If you ask me to pick between 135-pound Chavez and 135-pound Mosley, I'm picking Mosley. I just think it's a bad style matchup for Chavez because Mosley had, let's say, about the equal power, punch for punch, than Chavez. But then on top of that, he was faster, both with his feet and with his hands. And I just think that's a bad style matchup for a guy like Chavez who has to walk through a guy's what he's throwing. Like, for example, when he fought Meldrick Taylor, he eventually got him out of there, but barely. Now you add in a guy
140 to be fair, but and at 140 he was hurting people, but he was stopping them in the corner, but not knocking them out. And Jim Lampley made a comment about that as he moved up to 140. They're saying his power doesn't look quite the same because he's stopping guys, but he's not knocking them down. They're like stopping in the corners through attrition. At 135, that was the of my lifetime. And I like to say this live. My lifetime. This is the guys that I say are in there with Chavez at lightweight. That is Roberto Duran, Shane Mosley. That's it. I don't think Mayweather's worst weight class. Mayweather's weight class was 135.
Like substance at 35. Like from the eye test, he was one of the best ever. But Manny Pacquiao, lightweight. I think Loma, lightweight. Those guys, I don't know. Well, Pacquiao only was a brief stint there, but Shane Mosley accomplished a lot. Pernell Whitaker, same. That's hard to say.
Well, Pacquiao didn't fight Casamayor.
Well, first of all, let's state this. let's state this because this is factual. The Duvas did not choose to go after Chavez at 135. They went after Ramirez instead because they thought it would be easier, and it backfired. If they thought that he was really ready for him, they would have put him in because the Duvas didn't overly protect their fighters. When they thought you're ready, they threw you in with the bulls, and if you couldn't swim, then you sank. So I know that analogy was all over the place, but they didn't like to protect their guys. When they were ready, they got them title shots. Well, when Whitaker was ready for a title shot, they didn't go after Camacho. They didn't go after Rosario. They didn't go after Chavez. They went after Ramirez. They went after the weakest link. So they didn't even have confidence in their own guy that he would have beaten them back then. Otherwise, they would have gone for him. So there's that on that part. They purposely did not go after Chavez when he was at lightweight. They waited 31 years old, and they made him move to 147. That's when they went after him.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, though, because in 1993, that's when Whitaker and Chavez fought. Don King had a monopoly on Showtime because he had a bit of a strife with HBO at the time. So essentially it was like PBC. It was a proto PBC type of thing where one side of the street fighting on one network, that type of stuff. So Pernell Whitaker was fighting on HBO, right?
Yes.
In the early 90s. Okay, yeah. So that's why it took a while to make that fight. But even then, that's another fight that unfortunately it was one of those things where both guys were both Whitaker and Chavez were past their peak when they fought, and especially Chavez because he was fighting at 147. He was already into the partying, and I mean that's his fault. But what I'm saying is we never really got to, like Chief said, if they would have fought that lightweight, that would have been a whole other thing. That would have been a real
about that BDA. A lot of people forget that Whitaker Chavez fight was really close going into the middle rounds till Kurt Whitaker started low blowing, and I think that's kind of what changed the fight a little bit too. And that's when Whitaker started to settle in and take over. For the record, you and I have never talked about that before, and I've been saying that for years. So I'm not the only one.
We did, didn't we? I thought we had talked about that. No,
I'm saying Dora and I have never spoken about that before.
Oh,
he thinks the same thing that I do, and I've said that for years. That the turning point in that fight was 2 low blows by Whitaker in the 6th round and another one in the 7th, and that's when he started to take over. And for the record, now given this to Jim Lampley saying this, but Jim Lampley said that either Meldrick Taylor or Georgie Benton said that their game plan going against Chavez was to turn him, hit him below the belt, and hit him in the hip to throw his timing off. So that is an actual staple that the Duva fighters did, that Georgie Benton taught them. So to think that Whitaker did it by accident when that was their game plan going into the Meldrick Taylor fight, I don't find this to be a coincidence.
And he did it to Trinidad too.
He did, and he did De La Hoya too.
Well, yeah, to De La Hoya too, and he headbutted. Well, I mean the headbutt. I'm not going to when a southpaw and an orthodox fighter clash heads. Unless you can show intent, like he launched into him head first. That's one thing, but aside from that, I usually don't. Clashes. It happened to me a lot. I was left-handed. And I constantly bumped into people's heads.
To be honest,
it's interesting that both guys sort of like Chavez's decline started. You could argue it started after the Meldrick Taylor fight. That's when he started losing it little by little.
We're talking about the second one or the first one?
First one.
Whitaker after the Chavez fight. Whitaker after the Chavez fight is when he still had a good 3 years, going up to junior middleweight and all that. But then he started struggling against Wilfredo Rivera. That's an underrated fight right there.
They were protecting him, though. They were protecting him. Look at what they did for him. So he gets to a junior welterweight, fights Rafael Pineda, who, by the way, was an underachiever. He didn't try in that fight. In his 40s, he came back and was giving Corey Spinks and Zab Judah tough fights. Maybe not Zab Judah. I forget who it was. But anyway, he had a decent run in the late 90s, early 2000s. I saw him fight in Miami. Right. I was like, this is the same guy that couldn't even find Pernell Whitaker standing right in front of him. Now, I know Whitaker was slippery, but Whitaker wasn't using that head movement and dipping down low against Pineda. He was right in front of him. Pineda just had no clue what to do. But they went after Pineda. That was the weakest link at that division. They went up and fought Buddy McGirt. Now, they already knew how to beat Buddy McGirt because Meldrick Taylor already embarrassed them, number one. Number two, they didn't know this going in, but Buddy McGirt had a torn rotator cuff going into the fight. And it didn't, when his shoulder was better, he lost even worse the second time. So I'm not saying that ever would have been a factor, but he wasn't 100% Buddy McGirt. They never fought Terry Norris, even though they went to 154. He and Trinidad won their titles at welterweight the same year. It took them 6 years to get a match together. And then Pernell started calling Chavez out in 89, and they didn't fight till 93. They took their dear sweet time putting him in with people, and people, oh, he fought everybody. Okay, at lightweight, he fought what? 2 featherweights, and Azuma Nelson and Jorge Paez. They both had losing records in title fights at 135. The man was difficult to fight. Don't get me wrong. It's not that he wasn't talented, but trying to rate him higher than what he really objectively is,
I agree.
People consistently overrate this guy based off of the fights that, one, didn't happen, and two, the competition that he was in when he fought them weren't at their best. Look how hot and cold Azuma Nelson was after that fight. I mean, he should have lost to Jeff Fennick, beat him in a rematch, should have lost to Ruelas in the first fight, and then loses to Leija, beats Leija, beats Ruelas, but Ruelas had already killed Jimmy Garcia, so he was never the same again. And then loses to Genaro Hernandez. I mean, that was majority of Azuma Nelson's career. So he was never, even though he's a great fighter, don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter, don't get me wrong. But he was, after the Whitaker fight, he was not a consistent top of the line
junior lightweight. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean,
he was so much smaller than Whitaker. He had Whitaker had 4 inches on him, and I don't know, probably 4 or 5 inches of reach too. And he was coming up in weight, never falling at the weight class. And then, like you said, Jorge Paez, a former unified featherweight champion, that's who he beat. Whitaker did have some good wins at lightweight, but his run at lightweight is still criminally overrated, in my opinion. I mean, he beat, was it Roger Mayweather or something like that?
Yeah.
He went on to be a relatively good junior welterweight champion. He beat another guy, Greg Hodden or something like that.
That's who he won the title from.
Yeah, he went on to go to 142 and do some things. So it's not like his resume was all bad, but it is a little bit smoke and mirrors. And I've said
can I just say too, man? I mean, it's the way he beat them too, man. I mean, he washed out most of these guys. Now the Azuma Nelson fight, Chief, I think we've talked about that too before. That was a closer fight than most people will like to admit. But I mean, Whitaker did come out the winner, and not for nothing, but Azuma Nelson did go on to beat the crap out of Fennick in the rematch after the.
No, I noted that. But the fight before that was Fennick, though, because remember I said it was a roller coaster after that. So he loses to Whitaker. He goes back down.
He had malaria in the first Fennick fight.
Yes, he said that. He also said he had fluid in his elbow too, so he wasn't 100% in that fight. And like every other fighter out there, he was never 100% every time he lost. So,
wait a minute. Yeah, but I mean, my thing with Whitaker is, I think I mentioned this before too, that I was going to transition to the Roy Jones thing, but I just want to stay with Whitaker here for a second. Okay. So you're saying, Chief, that Duvas protected him. You see, that's something that few people ever get into, because I remember the narrative going into the mid to late 90s was, we can't find anybody for Whitaker. Everyone's avoiding him. We can't get Chavez, and then he can't get De La Hoya, he can't get Acorte, and so on and so forth. He did, end up trying to get Corte in there, but then he failed a drug test. So I mean, again, that's on him. Just like if you want to blame Chavez for not being at his best against Whitaker by the time they fought, well, same thing applies to Whitaker near the end of his career.
There was in 1995, there was a tournament in my hometown of Augusta, Georgia, and Duva brought Zab Judah there, who was still an amateur at the time. And I asked him, what's going on? They kept saying, well, we can't fight anybody. So what about Corte? What Duva said was he never signed a contract. Those are Duva's words. So I don't know what else happened with that. And I was also like late teens, early 20s at the time. So I'm almost 50 now. So I'm remembering everything from one conversation. But that's all I remember getting out of Lou Duva on why that fight didn't happen, because HBO was trying to pump that fight. But like I said, he and Trinidad were in the same weight class at the same time, winning titles. Whitaker beat McGirt in March, and Trinidad, who was the number 7 contender at the time, by the way, he wasn't even a number 1 contender, knocked out Maurice Blocker in 2 rounds in June. So they won their titles the same year. They didn't fight till 1999. And if they're saying it took so long, they can't get anybody to fight, why is it that Trinidad's constantly saying, I want Pernell Whitaker, I want Pernell Whitaker, I want Pernell Whitaker, and there's no sign or any records of any contracts being sent? And Ring Magazine even said that he was presented, do you want to unify with Felix Trinidad? Pernell's response was, I only want the big fights, saying that he was dismissing Trinidad as not a big fight yet. So there was never a situation where the Duvas went out of their way saying they wanted Felix Trinidad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised too. And on top of it, like I said, there was a Showtime HBO thing going on, and Trinidad wasn't even.
But Trinidad fought Larry Barnes on HBO with Pernell Whitaker on the main event.
Right. What I'm saying is he was even having trouble with Don. Remember, he sued Don King.
Yeah, he did. I think that was during that time. You might be right about that. I think you're right.
Well, I mean, it was a little after. It was in '98, I believe. But that's just indicative of the fact that I think Don King at the time was more focused on a comebacking Tyson, Chavez, and other endeavors rather than focusing on Trinidad. But ultimately, Corte, that's another guy that he was a fucking. I mean, just to give people an idea of how he was seen, he was seen as like an Errol Spence type guy. Now, when I say Errol Spence, I'm talking about Errol Spence back in 2015 and 2016, when he was seen as a real terror.
He didn't put it all together, but he was a very competent, tough fighter. He took a great punch. He gave a good punch. That jab, I'm sorry, if he were a welterweight today with that jab, I'm telling you, I'm a big Bud fan, so I think that Bud might have been able to figure out a way to outsmart him. But on just skill and strength alone, no, I don't. None of the other welterweights have beaten that guy.
Well, just to give people an idea of how good Corte was, after he lost to Vargas at 154, he retired. That was 2000. He stays idle for about 4.5 years, comes back, takes a gimme fight in his native Ghana, and then immediately jumps in against Verno Phillips. Now, Verno Phillips, you look at his record now, and people probably go, well, who the fuck is this guy? He's got double-digit losses. But he was a tough guy, especially at that time. And the fact that Corte jumped in there with him after just one tune-up after a 4.5-year layoff, and then I think he got jobbed against Vernon Forrest in 2006.
And then Winky Wright needed everything, including the bench he was sitting on, to try and keep him off of him. Even though he clearly won the fight, Corte was just, he couldn't fight. He had to fight almost trenches with Corte, because Corte could just take all those punches and walk right at him and be in punching range. He could walk right in on him. And because he's so tough and so strong, Wright had to fight him almost toe-to-toe most of that fight. So.
Well, that was a battle of the turtle shell defense. And it's interesting because Winky Wright and Corte were friends. I did not know that. Yeah, because Wright, I don't know if you remember, but there was a time where he couldn't do anything in the U.S., so he decided to go to France. I don't know how he got a contract there or something. So he was fighting on the same platform as Corte, and they became friends. And that's when Winky Wright, according to what I've heard, that's when he started developing that turtle shell defense and incorporating less movement, more standing his ground.
Also have to remember that the junior middleweight division was a largely European division at that time when Winky Wright was going overseas. Even though Vasquez is from Argentina, he fought in France sometimes. And then if you saw the movie Bleed for This, they actually talked about it. DeLee, I don't know where he's originally from, but he did fight out of France also. And then that Italian guy, can't remember his name right now. Anyway, he had the IBF belt. What they were looking to do was make a unification fight, but what they needed to do is make it big to get American audiences. So Vinny was supposed to be the sacrificial lamb to DeLee, and when he got that win, they were going Rossi, that was his name. They were going to get a unification fight with Gianfranco Rossi. That was the purpose behind that. Again, a largely European, even if they're some South African fighters or whatnot, they were fighting in France and Italy at the time because that's where that division was popular. And so that was the avenue there. And Winky Wright being at that size, there weren't a whole lot of American junior middleweights to make your name off of. So, and most of the belts were overseas. So he went and made a living overseas.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense why he was over there. It's interesting. Corte, the way he beat Vince Phillips up in the 90s, and Phillips would later go on to upset Costa Zoo. Although at 140, he was fighting above his best weight when he fought
Vince Phillips. No, there were two different Phillips. Verno was the one
I said Vince Phillips in the 90s. Phillips in the 90s.
I'm sorry. I heard you wrong. My bad. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Yeah, because I had mentioned Verno Phillips earlier, but that was at 154. But yeah, the way Corte beat up Vince Phillips, that's what really got people interested in. And then he fought Obakar, who was one of the best welterweights, never to have won a title. Yep. That's when he walked Obakar down. I mean, it was a competitive fight, but it was clear Corte. But then here's the kicker, and I want to ask you, Chief. I don't know if you remember this fight when he fought the underrated Jose Luis Lopez.
Yeah, I remember that.
They made it. They gave it a draw. How did you have that fight?
I thought that, to be honest with you, in memory serves, I was rooting for Lopez really hard in that fight. But if memory serves, I really only thought that the only 2 rounds Lopez really won were the 2 ones that he got those knockdowns. And one of them was questionable. I mean, it was a knockdown because he hit him, and if memory serves, Corte went forward and caught himself with his forearms, but it wasn't that's what caused the knockdown. And then he was knocked down late in the fight by a solid shot. Lopez's problem was he liked to smoke marijuana and surf. That was his problem, because what put him on the map was they wanted to get Yuri Boy Campos a title to try and keep him in the picture because he had that glossy record. So they stepped him in with Lopez because who's this guy? And then the way I read it, and I eventually downloaded the fight and saw it, a swollen and bloodied Yuri Boy Campos. Nobody ever done that to Campos before. Swollen and bloodied, he blew him out of the ring. And that's what prompted him to be Lopez to be a force to be reckoned with. And when he was on, he was a force to be reckoned with, but he would rather smoke marijuana and surf than to be a world champion.
Not a bad thing. Not 2 things that always go hand in hand, like peanut butter and jelly. I will say this, man. Going down memory lane, talking about Corte and Jose Luis Lopez and all that, it reminds me. It paints a vivid picture of these guys. There were all these quality fighters, these dark horses that most people didn't know about. Blah blah blah. I'm starting to think right now we have some similar fighters, like Matias at 140.
Yeah,
he's one such fighter. But that's the other thing, though. Lately, some of the so-called boogeymen that have come up end up being relative duds. Like, for example, Jared Hurd. I'm not saying he was a dud. I mean, I guess you could call him a dud compared to what some of the people in the early version of the BD Boxing podcast were saying. Like, I know Low Place had a number 3 pound for pound or something like that. It's like, come on. He did beat some good fighters. Don't get me wrong. Hey, Lara, Tony Harrison, Austin Trout, he stopped his share of fighters, but then as soon as he lost, he just continued losing. So that sort of reminds me of why I'm dubious of Matias, is because talking about all these past fighters from the 90s and all that, been there, done that. Guys like Chief, they've seen guys that people anoint the boogeyman. Oh, nobody can beat him, blah blah blah, and not for nothing, but Matias already does have a loss, which he avenged, but nevertheless he. There's a blueprint how to beat him. Yeah.
Agreed. And referring back to some of those old guys that were the boogeyman, that actually reminds me, do you remember Angel Vasquez, the featherweight? He used to fight on USA a lot, and he was almost ranked number 1 for Naz's belt. And then he had management problems and was out for a couple months. He just came back and was completely stale. Like everything was gone. The snap was gone. The fire was gone.
Was he a flat-footed puncher or?
Somewhat, if memory serves. Yeah, he only had a handful of fights. I remember him knocking out Daryl Pinckney, and he knocked out Daryl Pinckney. That's not the huge the beating him by knockout, but he did it by 1-punch knockout, and he walked him down, and he just timed it. And I remember Sean O'Grady was in the corner, and he's like, well, "What about something about Daryl Pinckney?" And all of a sudden, Vasquez landed that right hand, and his trainer looked over at Sean O'Grady and goes, "There goes Daryl Pinckney." That was it.
Hey, Sean O'Grady had some horrible interviewing skills. I remember when near the last couple. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose or if he had that George Foreman unintentionally funny thing. Because I remember when Wayne McCullough fought Oscar Larios, and most people felt McCullough should have gotten the decision. So they interview Larios, and then he goes, "Okay, let's talk now to the loser, Wayne McCullough." He puts his arm around Wayne McCullough. He goes, "Wayne, one question. How are you?" I'm thinking, what the fuck is that's the, you only have a couple of minutes on network television. Well, I know it's cable television, but it's still, they got commercial and everything. That's what you're going to spend your first question, the first minutes, the seconds of the question. How are you? I don't know. I just thought it was weird, man.
I think that he had a liking to Wayne McCullough because they fought very similarly.
Oh, they were both Irish, right? Too, right?
Yeah, both
Or
Irish, and they fought the same, but the difference is Sean had more power. I mean, Sean fought a bunch of tomato cans. I don't like to use that term. Let me rephrase. He fought very carefully selected opposition to get him to a title shot, but he beat Helmer Kente. Now, Helmer Kente is not in the Hall of Fame, and he's never going to be. Neither Sean O'Grady. But Helmer Kente was a tough guy. So for a young man, because he was late teens, early 20s when he took that fight, to accomplish that, especially a guy that bled as bad as he did, that was a major accomplishment. He won a world title. I want to say he was a funny guy. I met him at a few different events. Well, maybe just one. I think that I know that USA came to Augusta for Vernon Forrest versus somebody Thomas, and Alexander Zolkin was the main event. And being a native Augustan, I got to, and being with the Augusta Boxing Club, which had something to do with it, I got to get passes over the place. And so I talked to Sean O'Grady after the weigh-in, and he was just hilarious. He just nothing but this high-spirited, kind joker. He wasn't drinking. That's just his sense of humor. He was just that's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah, some of these fighters, man, they've got some outlandish, bigger than life or larger than life personalities. It's interesting, man. I was rewatching Nigel Benn versus Gerald McClellan, because we're talking now that Ennis is at the zone. There's a possibility that maybe they can make Conor Benn versus Ennis. I think there seems to be an interest now from Eddie Hearn to finally make that fight happen. And I was thinking, look, right now Ben can't fight in the UK, but if they ever make that fight happen, believe me, grease a couple the right elbows, and the BBOC will grant Ben. They will re-grant him his license. And I started thinking, man, that's really a fight similar to Nigel Benn McClellan. And I gotta tell you, man, I was rewatching the fight before going to sleep a couple of days ago. So I'm watching the fight, man. Geez, Luis, that's a back and forth affair, torrid pace, just an absolute brawl. I had to stop watching before the last round. I feel like a pussy saying it, but that's the way I felt, man. I couldn't finish knowing what happens afterwards to McClellan. I say, you know what? I don't. I mean, in principle, I shouldn't even have watched the fight if I really felt that way, but I don't know, man. Do you ever see fight? Do you even rewatch a fight where a guy either a guy's gonna get brain dead or dies?
No, I haven't rewatched the Garcia fight with Ruelas. Not rewatched Kim versus Ray Mancini, and prior to, because I was rewatching that fight over and over again when it first came out, and I recorded it. But once I found out the results of what happened, it's really, that fight hasn't aged well to me. I know it's the greatest super middleweight fight of all time. It literally is, but you're not going to catch me going to watch it anymore. I don't think I can bring myself to do that.
The fact that McClellan was blinking in the last 2 rounds, like you could tell he was squinting, and then you're watching that, you know what's going to happen to him. But at the same time, we've had that discussion with other people on the show about how some people don't feel sorry for the dude because of what he was doing to, he had the fight dogs. What do they call them?
What's the
I don't know.
No, McClellan. He used to breed dogs for fighting.
Yeah, and like what Michael Vick did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were. Yeah. And then apparently there was a story where his manager or somebody was in a car with him, and McClellan was driving down there in Florida or somewhere. And there was these flamingos on the road, or some birds, whatever. And he goes, "Hey, watch this!" And he just swerves and runs him over. I'm thinking, holy shit, the guy was a bit of a maniac.
Those are stories I haven't heard. I'm not saying they're not true. He didn't do a lot of interviews, so there wasn't like getting to know him a lot. He was an Emmanuel Stewart prodigy. He was one of the reasons why Emmanuel Stewart, him and Michael Moore had a falling out, because I think Moore was lazy and McClellan wasn't. Moore was undefeated, but McClellan wasn't. And so Moore wanted more of the attention, and Emmanuel Stewart's like, this is my future, you're not. So and then they kind of, I'm paraphrasing some of them hypotheticals, but that was a falling out because Emmanuel Stewart bought a house. McClellan and Moore were 2 of the fighters that were living in it with him, and Moore moved out. And then he fired Emmanuel Stewart. So
Also,
much of it was due to the fact that McClellan was getting most of the attention.
Also, the fact that both guys are British and American. What other comparisons are there? Conor is not as good as his dad. He's not as aggressive as his father. And this power all of a sudden is gone without the juice. Where are all the knockouts? He hasn't knocked anybody out since he got caught. So I don't think it's a competitive fight.
Well, his father wasn't really that great either. I mean, he's in the top 20 best fighters from Britain, but his resume too was. And by the way, okay, just
he knocked out Ryan Barkley in one round.
Yeah.
I know, but before we get into that, I just wanted to clarify something, Chief. So, what happened then? What was the reason then why McClellan? Because that's the other thing I want to mention. When he fought Nigel Benn, he had this corner guy trainer. One of those dudes, your classic trainer who he wears a funny hat and now he thinks it makes him look like a world-class trainer. He was giving him some horrible instructions. What happened in that fight that he didn't have Stewart in his corner by then?
Okay, so that part I don't remember. I do know.
Animal Lewis.
Well, yeah, but
That's what it was.
What it was?
Wasn't it Panama Lewis on his corner?
Panama Lewis.
I don't remember who was in his corner. The thing about it was Emmanuel was not there. So I don't know if Emmanuel, I don't remember a falling out between those two, but Emmanuel, I think at that time was also getting in with Lennox Lewis. And he may have thought that this was a foregone conclusion because don't forget, Ben was sensational at middleweight, even though he had that loss to Henry Watson. He still came back and, like I said, knocked out Nigel Benn in one round. And he did lose to Chris Eubank at that weight, but he was beating Eubank till that happened. He moves up to 168. He wins the title in nondescript fashion, has a few fights that are going the distance. He's not really blowing people out of the water anymore. He's in Henry Wharton, I think, knocked him down also in a fight. So it's starting to look like he's fading. So this was supposed to be a foregone conclusion. Nigel Benn had other plans.
Kind of like Ennis versus Conor Benn. Seems like a foregone conclusion. But if they juice Conor Benn right back up, man, over there in the UK, then it could get interesting.
Well, if we're talking about history possibly repeating itself, let's also look at the fact that in Haney versus Ryan Garcia, you take Ortiz versus Berto. Berto wasn't really on a downslide. He was really kind of maybe at just past his peak, but he was on the high rise still, making himself known without the division. And Ortiz had already quit to Maidana down at 140 and hadn't looked impressive since. And then he comes up and he beats the crap out of, even though he gets knocked down a time or two, he beats the crap out of Berto and wins the title. So we have a similar situation. The fact that Ryan's already looked like he quit against Tank. The odds are heavily against him. He shouldn't be in this fight. He's taking on a guy that fits the weight just as good, if not better than he does. The guy's undefeated. He's on the higher track. He's the more touted fighter. If we're going by history to make our predictions, the table's set the same way for this fight as that one was, just like Conor Benn and Boots may be set like that. But as we know, boxing isn't scripted, so it doesn't always turn out that way.
I was talking to Jimmy off the air about that because Ryan Garcia, he's not faking it. He really is losing it. But I'm still just a tiny little skeptical because I remember with Teofimo Lopez in the build-up to the Josh Taylor fight, he was saying things that were reminiscent of what he was saying prior to the Kambosos loss. So I was looking at that and I was thinking, okay, this ain't good. And then all of a sudden he goes in there against Taylor and he does it. Now, granted, Taylor too, he hadn't fought in over a year. He was weight drained, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, those are factors that you can include in the fight. But still, what I'm trying to say is I'm still a little skeptical that maybe this is all fake, although I don't think so. Like, if you hold a gun to my head and ask me, okay, you got to choose one. Is he crazy or isn't he? I'm 90% certain that he's really not there mentally. But then again, like you said, Chief, that's what most people were saying about Ortiz going into the Berto fight. So you never know.
They were saying he was mentally weak. I'm not necessarily saying that he was crazy. But when in the interview against Maidana, he said, I don't deserve to take this punishment. And when those particular words, when you're saying, there's many different ways to put that if that's not what you meant. But when you actually say those words, and that's the soundbite that's there because they don't let you correct it, you're not undefeated, number one. You'd already lost once on the way up. It was a DQ, but you've already lost. Two, you're supposed to be the heir apparent, and you quit in a fight that you could have won if you really would have dug in deep. But you didn't. You folded. You said you're the one that said no more. It wasn't like you were knocked out by a shot you didn't see in a war. You said no mas. Okay. And it wasn't because of cramps and everything else like that. You didn't want to get hit anymore. And then his fights after that at 140 were highly unimpressive, incredibly unimpressive. So it really looked like he wasn't going to amount to anything. It turns out he didn't amount to much, but he did have that Berto moment that kind of made people go, maybe we were wrong about him. And to be honest with you, when he let his hands go against Mayweather, he was actually hitting him. He did not belong in the ring as a tough competitive fighter in a tough competitive fight. He couldn't contain himself. He couldn't compose himself. He couldn't focus. And when it got tough, he would either cheat, quit, or find a way out. That's just Ortiz's career.
That's well said. Yeah, that's well said. That was Victor Ortiz in a nutshell.
Guys, please hit the like button. Don't forget, it really helps the show. Hit that like button.
You know, now that Butcho's back, I wanted to say something about that. About, you know, Chief and myself were talking the couple of episodes ago about Tyson versus Lewis. And you know what, Chief? I rewatched Lewis versus Mercer. And yeah, I'm kind of getting where you're coming from a little bit more now that fight is fresher in my memory. But I reiterate, if the ref lets Lewis clinch, then it could possibly be to his advantage against Tyson. But man, Lewis, the first couple of rounds against Mercer, he's just pumping the jab. He's trying to box. And even Foreman's like, man, this guy's a big puncher. He should start using his punch. And lo and behold, you know, Mercer's taking whatever he's throwing, blah, blah, blah. Then the uppercuts started coming along. That fucking Lennox Lewis right hook to the body, right uppercut up down the middle. It pierced Mercer's guard, and Mercer had to take a little step back and shake his head like, no, you didn't get me, which usually means, yeah, you got him. So the fact that he was shaking this guy's boots with that, I mean, Lewis was a murderous puncher, man. So I think Tyson, don't you think that a little bit Tyson would have been weary of that too? I mean, what's the biggest puncher Tyson faced?
Roddick, probably.
Roddick, right.
So these are all fair points. Now, the likelihood you're going to get hit Tyson is, now we're talking peak versus peak. The likelihood you're going to hit peak Mike Tyson with an uppercut is slim to none. He ain't going to be there. You can try. He's not going to. When you're jabbing, and Lennox was good at doing this against fighters when he still got too comfortable. He would start to lean in and not necessarily lean over the front leg, but he'd lean into his jab when he was missing, trying to step into it, and not necessarily his chin exposed, but putting himself not necessarily on balance. This is exactly what Tyson wants. Now, you didn't do that against Mercer because you didn't have to. Mercer was there too. Mercer did a high guard, put his chin down, and Mercer had one heck of a chin. Tommy Morrison couldn't knock him off his feet. Vander Holyfield did with a shot he didn't see, but couldn't knock him out. And Klitschko knocked him out when Mercer was 40-plus years old. So the man been in with some really big punch. Tim Witherspoon couldn't put him down. Lewis couldn't put him down. So he's got a heck of a chin. Tyson also had a great chin. Look, Buster Douglas may not have been the biggest puncher, but he was 6'4" and 235 pounds, teeing off on Tyson, and didn't even stagger him till the 9th round. It took 9 rounds for this to accumulate on him. Razor Ruddock was a big puncher. He never had Tyson down once. He backed him up a few times, but hit him with some murderous punches that would knock most of the people out. So even if that shot to the body, now here's where you have a point. Tyson did not take a good body shot. People overlook this. If you go back and watch the first round against Trevor Berbick, it's a split-second reaction. And Tyson recovers quickly and didn't show the weakness very much. But Berbick, it was either a left hook or a right hand to the body, and Tyson bends down and backs up just a hair because it caught him. And then before that was Quick Tillis was throwing those flurries to the body, and Tyson even said that's the reason why he went to the distance. All that body work just caught up to me, and I couldn't finish him off. So, and then Bruno hurt him with a body shot in the first fight. He caught him with a left hook to stagger him, but he also hit him with a body shot that made him wince also. Ruddock in the second fight hit him with a left hook to the chest, and Tyson backed up and did a little, it wasn't a stagger, but it was a light, he kind of shook a little bit. So anytime you hit him, and then when Holyfield knocked him down the 6th round, that was a shot to the chest also. In the second round of the Holyfield fight, Tyson was on his toes all the way till Holyfield took a step over the right and hit him with the right hand to the body. Tyson backed up, lifted his knee up, and he was flat-footed for the rest of the fight. So these are numerous situations I'm pointing out on the fact that hitting him to the body is the key. The question is, being shorter than Mercer, is Lewis going to be able to get down and throw that right uppercut to the body without putting himself in harm's way for Tyson to be able to counter that shot? And Tyson was fast enough to be able to hit him before Lewis would have got his shot in. So there's a lot of factors around this that you make good points that Lewis could still win, but that's against an older Tyson. If we're talking about the young guy who moved his head, that was hard to hit, there was through combinations, used a jab, all these factors that he had. No, he never, and he fought guys as tall as Lewis. They may not have been anywhere near as good as Lewis, but Jose Ribalta was a really big guy. And Biggs was a really big guy. He got past all of their tools and got in to do what he needed to do. The difference is, like you're saying, those guys didn't clinch. If you clinch Tyson, he couldn't fight his way out of a clinch. And that, my friend, is where I agree with you 100% that could change the fight out of everything off of me. All the factors I'm saying that lead to Mike Tyson possibly winning this fight, that could be the nullifier.
Yeah, I'm no longer as confident as I was in picking Lewis. But you know what? One of the big factors for me saying that Lewis would have probably always beat him, or at least, if they fight 5 times, beats him 3 or 4 out of 5, is because he had beat him in the amateurs. And you know how that goes. Usually it's a styles make fights type of thing. If you beat a guy in the amateurs, Lewis
beat him.
He got the best of Tyson in sparring, I believe, a number of times. No, didn't he beat him too, by the way, in the amateurs?
I don't think they ever fought in the amateurs. Tyson turned pro.
So maybe I think they just sparred.
Yeah,
right, I think they just sparred in the build-up to the Olympics, which Tyson did not go to. But yeah, man, Lewis was but then again, hey, Lewis, man.
They were in different weight classes also. There was the heavyweight and super heavyweight. Tyson was the heavyweight. He fought Henry Tillman at heavyweight and didn't make the team. Lewis was a super heavyweight, and he lost in 84 to Terrell Biggs. I don't know what round it was. Biggs ended up winning the gold medal. That was in 84. And Tyson turned pro after that.
Yeah, that's why Tyson sort of liked beating up on Biggs. Because he felt, I think that's what he said. He felt like he should have gone to the Olympics. And that by beating him, he sort of took away his gold medal. Incidentally, we were talking about Trinidad. Remember after he beat David Reed, he looked at the camera and he said, 3 gold medals.
3 gold medals.
Because he'd beaten Whitaker, 1984 gold medalist, De La Hoya, 1992, and then David Reed, 1996.
Actually,
so
not just 3 gold medals, but 3 gold medals almost in sequence. He missed 88, but 84, 92, and 96. So, unfortunately, I got to go for a little bit. I'll try and come back later.
All right, Chief. Good talking to you, man.
Thank you for letting me have me on. I love talking about boxing history. So, you guys have a good one if I don't get back on.
All righty.
All right. We have also Jimmy here. I don't know if Jimmy is there.
Jimmy.
Yes, sir. Yo.
Nice. So
yeah, we're just talking boxing history here. We were talking. It's interesting, Jimmy, because we're going down memory lane talking about the '90s, and it sort of puts things into different perspective. Some of the things that are going on right now, and it reminds me that some of the things that people were saying before, a few things change. And the same things get said about certain fighters, like, oh, this guy's invincible, or this guy's the boogeyman, or this and that, and then these guys get found out. And Chief brought up a good point. I know we're going to talk about that fight more next week, but Chief brought up a good point that when Victor Ortiz was going to fight Andre Berto was the undefeated guy. Ortiz had 2 losses, and he quit against Maidana. He was kind of like a proto-Ryan Garcia, too. And most people thought Berto was going to beat him, and then all of a sudden, whoops, Ortiz comes in there and gives him the fight of his life and actually pulls it off and wins. So, I have to wonder if Garcia has like you said, Jimmy, if he has the physical tools to do it. I'm just not that sold that Haney's that good. He's good, don't get me wrong. He's one of the best in the world, but he's not the type of guy that dominates unless he's got a couple of asterisks next to his opponents.
All right. Yeah. Haney is, let's look at his biggest wins. Well, his biggest win is supposed to be Lomachenko, and he didn't win that fight. in most people's opinion. So, all right, to take away that fight, Jojo Diaz.
You got Linares, Jojo Diaz, and Prograis.
Prograis. I mean, was that guy shot or what? No, seriously.
Well, see, that's the thing though, because Prograis is a difficult guy too. It's just so, but that's the thing though. It's the Haney's do it to themselves, because instead of fighting him when he's looking good, they fight him after he looks bad against Zorrilla. And I give Haney credit for beating Prograis, because he did it much better than Zorrilla did. I mean, I'm not saying that Zorrilla beat Prograis, but I do believe that fight could have gone either way. Whereas Haney, there's no doubt about it, he won against Prograis. But that's what I'm saying is I think he's being a little overrated. A little bit. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying when people try to paint him out as this master tactician, technician, it's unbeatable.
He's a good boxer. I don't like the fact that he likes to fucking clinch that much. You know, you look at those fights against Cambosos, those fights were extremely boring, and he clinched excessively, where he should have gotten points deducted. Well, you know how boxing is, right? So that, to me, when you clinch that much, you're not showing me that you are an elite level boxer. You're not.
Well, elite.
Well, okay, sorry, elite. Okay, no. What's the next level?
He's a medium.
You know what?
Are you talking about Hitchens, right?
No, Devin Haney. I'm saying that
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the fact that he needs to clinch a lot, it shows to me that he's not as good as people make him out to be, because he has to resort to clinching.
He's trying to take out half of the boxing game when you refuse to engage on the inside. You know what I mean? That's a whole different style of fighter, and you just refuse to engage with that, and you hold. That's illegal, and it's weird. It's weird that it's more and more egregious. Like they let these guys get away with it, because a guy like that wants to hold it, he'll get pounded on the inside. That's what the problem is, and he knows it. And they just want to hold and avoid that. It's an aspect of the boxing. It's an aspect of boxing. I don't know why it's allowed to be taken out of it like that.
Yeah, it's basically.
I'll say this, Pucho. I'll put it to you this way in regards to Haney's worth. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world, but he's not in the top 5 best in the world, which is a whole different, like that's elite of the elite. So we're talking Crawford, Inoue, Usyk, Canelo.
No,
I said 4 names there.
He's
so
not a pound for pounder. No, absolutely not. He didn't beat Lomachenko. Now he's at 140. What can he do to become a top 5 pound for pound boxer? So I like what I'm saying is, okay, so he would have to beat Teofimo Lopez, I assume, Matias. Who else? You know.
Lopez, Matias. They were talking about, you know, Barboza.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think the Barboza fight goes a little bit like the Cambosos fight. A little bit. Not that one-sided, but I do think Haney has the advantage there. But, you know, they were talking about how he's still struggling to make 140. I mean, not struggling, but he still has to work at making 140. And that he's going to be moving to 147. I mean, that's what they said. His father said, which take it with a grain of salt. But, Bucho, to answer your question, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'll move up to welterweight.
Exactly.
But they're going to wait. They're going to wait until Crawford. He's probably near the end of his tenure as welterweight champ. And these two probably won't be there for much longer. So it leaves the division wide open, really.
Yeah, that's true. And I get this feeling that Haney has gotten to that point where the 0, the O, the undefeated record is very important. And they will do anything to preserve that 0. Does that make sense? So they're not going to take many risks, because to them it's more important to keep that 0 than to actually fight tough competitive fights or tough fights.
It's very his career's been very calculated. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it is. You know, a lot of boxing management involves painting a picture and painting a narrative, showing you things that might not really be there. And, you know, that's the promoter's job. Top Rank does it. Matchroom does it. Right. They build up a guy and they match him accordingly. They have scouts, spies in the gym to try to, and then based on what they see and what the intel that they gather, that's how they make a fight. So I don't necessarily fault Haney for that, but just within the context of the conversation is how good is he?
Well,
and the more asterisks they are.
Sorry, but you're talking about the promotion. So they have to make you, they're trying to sell you a product and going to tell you, oh, this product is really good. You got to buy it. Oh, it's really good. And one of the things that they try to tell you about this product is that it's so good that it's undefeated. Right? It's undefeated. Right. Look at it. It's so good. I'm telling you, he's undefeated. So then they get into this. Then they have to protect that zero because it's part of Haney now. That's zero. Without the zero, he's no longer Haney. He's not that product.
It's a crutch for a bad performance, you know. Anybody that he doesn't look good against, or they say like, oh, it's a close fight. They can just say, oh, well, he's undefeated, so. You don't like his style? Well, you can't beat it. He's undefeated.
Exactly. It's like, oh, the fight was boring. Yeah, but that's why he's undefeated. I mean, because nobody can beat him, and they try to like change the topic and make you forget that the fights are boring by telling you, well, no, but you just watched an undefeated boxer. What's that word they always use? Anyways, like you're watching history here. Forget about the boring fight. You just watched history, and the commentators try to sell you that shit. We see it with ESPN when Shakur fights, like, oh, this guy's so great. Oh, look at that. He hasn't lost a round in I don't know how many fights. Who gives a
generational talent? Is that what you're trying to say, Bucho?
Yeah, exactly. Generational talent. You're watching a generation. Yeah, sorry, but the fight was boring. It doesn't matter. You just watch. You don't realize what you just watched. You don't realize what you just watched. You just watch a generational talent. Appreciate it. Be grateful.
You know what's interesting, too, about that is the fact that I'm surprised that this fight hasn't been selling. That's the most jarring thing. And it makes sense based on the fact that, like, Bucho, you asked a question, what does he have to do to be considered a top 5 pound-for-pound guy? This fight ain't it, man. Because very few people are giving him a chance. I think I'm one of the few that thinks that if Garcia really gets his act together, he could pull it off. But even then, that's like the same thing with the Tank fight. It's more of an exciting pick rather than a correct pick. And well, so again, like you said, Haney has a problem too that he's not that entertaining, and keep him fighting in California because apparently he did well at the gate there when he fought Prograis. But you put him in Vegas, you put him in the East Coast, the way they're doing now, he didn't working out. And that whole prospect of, well, it's because he's so good. He's boring, but it's because he's so good. So you're still gonna have to pay to watch that genius and that marvelous exhibition of boxing. That doesn't really work, man. It worked with Mayweather, and it's led a new generation of fighters thinking that they can be boring and be as big as Mayweather was. Mayweather was an anomaly. For every Mayweather, you have like a guy like Pacquiao and Whitaker, whom we were talking about. We were talking about him not that long ago.
Yeah.
It was round after round of the same thing, and yeah, it took skill and everything, but people didn't really want to pay to watch round after round of the same thing. And Haney's not even that good he's as good as Whitaker. So make of that what you will.
He's gonna lose, and his career is gonna go to shit because it's based on that zero, that illusion of invincibility, and that's gonna be gone. Once it's gone, it's over for him because he's fucking boring.
But what about too the fact you asked the question? Well, what does he have to do? Well, again, I reiterate what I've been saying the last couple of episodes. If you one of the big things or the commonalities that you see with the previous mainstream stars of boxing, De La Hoya, Mayweather, Pacquiao, Canelo, Joshua, they fight the best. That's one thing they all have in common. They fight the best. Haney, he's fighting good opposition, but a lot of people want to see him fight his American contemporaries, Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. And guess what? Unfortunately, my feeling is, and it's a feeling, it's not, obviously I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't see those fights happening anytime soon.
Teofimo Lopez also there. Teofimo Lopez,
of course, yeah.
He's a dangerous guy. I don't think that's the plan for Haney. The plan for Haney is, I think it's to move up, to be honest. Maybe grab a belt at 140 and then move up in weight. So now he's going to be like a 2-division champion going up to welterweight. Again, he's trying to preserve that zero, and he's only going to risk that zero when there's a major, major fight, like a big ass fucking fight.
That's why he always talks about Thurman. They've always talked about Thurman. He wanted to move up and fight Thurman.
Oh my! Why?
Because that's Bill. Bill has this thing about Thurman. Like that makes sense. That's an opponent they can move up and weight and fight, and it's not gonna really, he's a smaller guy. Like Haney's career, just like rest of Haney's career. That's the one thing cool about this Ryan Garcia fight, is that Ryan Garcia is younger and he's bigger, which guys Haney's usually avoids. So that's the one thing Ryan has going for him. But yeah, you're right, man. It's just they all protect the O. I mean, especially Haney, bro. Like super orchestrated. Like Jojo Diaz, everyone's smaller, older. Jojo Diaz smaller, Loma older,
Loma
smaller.
was, of course, older and smaller.
Yeah.
By the way,
Lenore is older.
In the chat, we have a comment. JA05 says, BDA and Bucho, are you guys still going to hate? Even if Haney goes undisputed at 140. No, if he goes undisputed, like I just said, I mean, he beats Matias. I mean, to go undefeated at 140, that's a big deal. You got to beat a lot of interesting fighters in there. So I would definitely give him credit. Of course.
Doesn't change
I
the
like
fact
how he
that
used the term
Loma.
That's true.
Right. I also like the fact that he used the term hating. I mean, we're criticizing. And I don't think the criticism is beyond the... it's not outlandish criticism. It's not like I'm saying the guy sucks or anything.
Yeah, yell some haters.
Yell some haters. Yeah, I mean, that's just a blanket. You got to come up with something better than that, man. Sorry.
I just remember when Ryan Garcia lost Gervonta Davis. I was like, man, to get Ryan's career right back up and going, I was like, he should fight Prograis. That would be an easy fight, and he'd be right back in the mix. And, of course, Haney does that. Because Prograis was nothing at that point, bro. We just saw him versus Zorilla, dude. Haney's career is real orchestrated, and it's just the way Bill has set it up, very easy for him. Like, I know it might look difficult to like a casual perspective, like Prograis. I know a lot of people pick Prograis, but come on, man, he looked the same way he did versus Zorilla, the same exact way. And Zepeda, look what Hitchens did to Zepeda. Prograis, that fight really shouldn't have been that 50-50 either. Zepeda was pretty shot by then as well. I mean, you really, when you take a fine-tooth comb and look through Haney's resume, you can really point out a lot of things like that. Yeah.
Were you at the Zepeda fight?
I was at the Zepeda fight, and I was at the Prograis fight. I was at both.
Interesting. And see, I Am Your Leader gets accused of hating too, but he's paying money to, he's supporting these guys by paying to watch them fight.
Yeah,
which is
we don't have a lot of boxing in Northern California, so if it's a big show, I'm gonna go. I mean, the best, I'm telling you, and like people don't believe me that was a very casual crowd, and it makes sense because he's not selling in Brooklyn right now. Like the Bay Area will support you. We supported Andre Ward even though he was very boring. Like he sold out because the Bay Area is very loyal of people that are supposedly from here, even though he's not. But man, Haney was boring, bro. The loudest pop, the most excited the crowd got was when Liam Paro knocked out Montana Love. Like a guy literally next to me was like, people were not paying. People were bored, bro. They were like speaking, like they were bored. Like it wasn't after the knockdown of Prograis. It's pretty much the same thing. Oh, when you're in a big arena like that, and it's just a guy kind of circling around and just jabbing and controlling the pace, it's pretty boring.
Who do you guys think is more boring, his shit talking or him running around the ring?
Oh,
I don't know. People say
It's
that
pretty fucking bland.
and it wasn't. Like people say that was a master class, but I'm telling you, bro, like we were very bored in that arena.
Well,
You need to
what
watch
I
the
don't
movie.
understand is,
Go ahead, B-Dave.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that someone needs to show this kid the movie Gladiator, so he can go to that scene where he tells him, "You're good, Maximus, but you're not that good. You're winning.
But I mean,
you need the crowd.
Right? He's just
You know what I
boring.
mean?
yeah, exactly. You need the crowd. You need to win the crowd. Again, these guys think that their undefeated record is what's gonna sell, but it's not. It's what you do inside the ring. They got it all wrong.
When Never Sober said it's like Gladiator, I thought the quote he was gonna say was, "You don't like it, then you can crawl back down that shithole that you came from." Remember when the Roman guy is telling the
that's the price.
But you know what, man? Look, I was just gonna say, Haney. Yeah, look, a lot of guys have well calculated careers. That's the name of the game. I don't mind that. But when people start saying that he's some sort of top 5 guy, that remains to be seen. And fighting a guy like Ryan Garcia doesn't really do much to assert that point.
I disagree, Mr. BDA. I think he's top 5. He's a top 5 scam artist.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I mean, someone's got to say it. I'll say it.
I don't know him.
Well, one thing is I don't understand is, yeah, his father's the guy that's really he deserves credit for. He's getting up there as a good manager. But that's the other thing though, is he gets a lot of the credit for the training. But apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Bill Haney actually? There was a YouTuber that did film analysis, and Ben Davidson. Apparently, those guys are really the ones that are looking into his training or something like that, right?
Lee Wiley,
thank you, Pete. So Bill Haney can only do so much in there.
It was the thing when during the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney press conference when Bill Haney said to Hopkins that you haven't done anything for that community, the black community. What does that mean?
You know, you asked that question you posted that in the community section a couple of weeks ago, and man, I don't know, it pissed some people off, man.
Yeah,
I don't know why, man.
Exactly. I made that up. I made that up. No, that's what he said.
Yeah, but why can't it be the poverty community, like the unlucky people? Why does it specifically have to be only black people?
Exactly. He said I think he told Hopkins, you done great with the Brown brothers, no problem. But what about the black? Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but he was implying that, well, you haven't done anything for the black community. It's like, what? What have you done? What do you mean?
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense considering Bill Haney is. I mean, Oakland doesn't really have a big black population. I don't know where he gets this militant.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where.
Well, you know why. I am your leader. You know why. He's always he's roaming in those LGBTQ channels. Dude.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that place had been pretty much gentrified even back then. Even when he was growing up. Like I don't know where he gets. I think he's just a spoiled little kid that read some books and went to prison and got this crazy ideology. But he didn't get it from
I'm your leader.
He didn't get it from there.
I'll say I'm your leader though. Going to prison will radicalize you, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah, probably. No, it's the LGBT.
I'm sure that's where he converted to Islam too.
Oh yeah.
Because I've seen his grandparents. I've seen the grandparents. They look like respectable people, and like I've heard them in interviews. Bill said she was like a nurse. I think his mom was a nurse, and his dad was like a teacher or something like that. It's like where did all this shit come from, Bill?
Prison.
Well, you know
what? Wait. Pause. Didn't B-Hop go to prison?
Yeah, and that's what
so there's my counter argument.
So what was going to say? Bill Haney and B-Hop deserve each other. That's a perfect. Oh, someone should lock them in a fucking room.
Yeah, that was a bad example because they're the same.
They're both. Yeah.
But B-Hop is still waiting for him in the restroom.
Yeah.
And you know what, man? That was funny, man. Because it's true. Those guys, when they get incarcerated, they don't like saying go to prison. They like saying incarcerated. Makes it sound more professional. When they get incarcerated, afterwards, they always come out Muslim. Like I remember when Mike Tyson went inside, and then he came out in his comeback fight. All of a sudden, he's got this Nation of Islam guys around him. He's walking to the ring, and one of the guys is screaming, "Allah Qasam Alayhim." Allah Qasam Alayhim. It's Alam Alaikum. And the guy's screaming Allah Qasam Alayhim. Like it sounded like some sort of French ice cream or something.
Allah Qasam, Balakayi.
So it's a Harry Potter spell, is what you're saying?
You say that they're full of shit, bro.
Yeah,
it's like a gang. It's like a gang.
Aside from the prison, they're just level 10 bullshitters.
Yeah.
Without the intelligence, you know what I'm trying to say? They fancy themselves so smooth. Yeah, they got it all. Like they're telemarketers, dude. That's exactly what. Bill Haney, can I just say this? And a younger B-Hop. That's exactly the same person.
Hopkins is the type I really like watching. I liked watching Hopkins fight, but I really you would think, oh, a guy that good at boxing, you'd like to pick his brain. You really can't, because you ask him a question, it takes him 20 minutes to answer it, and he goes nowhere. Like, have you ever seen these interviews where they go, Bernard, what does it take to be a boxer, and how did you find that inner strength in most of your fights? When you go into the lion's den, and you're not a lion, you have to become a lion. And he goes on for 20 minutes, and he doesn't even answer the question anymore. He's going on a different tangent about prison and Islam, and it's, man, you can't ask that dude a question. At least Bill Haney.
He does the same shit. Floyd does.
Like the fake indignance, like he's all like offended. He's older now, so people look at B-Hop and they're like, okay, he's a little more calm now, but like he used to be just like a grandstanding asshole. When you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, why?
Just like,
I don't.
Yeah, you remember?
Let me just explain to you one thing right now, okay? Now, listen. Now, and it's the same way with Bill Haney. He gets on these shows. He just thinks he's like such a 4D chess playing bullshitter that no one's buying in, no one's catching on to it. And if you pay attention to the sport and you pay attention to Haney's career, it's not fucking. It shouldn't slip past you that Bill Haney was on the Boxing Voice earlier in the week, and he goes, they're talking about like the other people in the division. Like, okay, so let's just say you get by Ryan. Like, what do you think about Matias? And like, because people say maybe
speculating,
you might not want that fight. And he's like, okay. Now, Ness, now, you know what people talking about? They're talking about our mandatory. He don't fight as mandatory. Oh. And he goes, well, who's your mandatory? Xander Martin? And he goes, yeah, exactly. Don't forget that. I was just saying. And he's like, who the fuck's talking about Xander Martin at 140? They're talking about Matias. They're talking about Tiafimo.
He has to fight the mandatory. If he doesn't fight the mandatory, he's gonna get criticized for that. So
he brought like Bill had to like crowbar it in there. Who the hell at 140 has mentioned Xander Martin?
Nobody cares. Nah, I'm telling
you, nobody cares about that fight. But you could tell Bill's already his wheels are turning. Right, he's already angling towards it. I just thought it was obvious. Like, come on, dude.
What happened to Catterall? Is it that dude like not in the picture anymore? Or?
He's fighting Josh Taylor, bro.
Oh yeah. When is?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Is it in Scotland or England? Because I don't trust. Well, I don't.
That's a fair argument, Bucho. What you're getting at?
But those Scottish people. I remember his big quote to me one day was, "The problem with Scotland is that it's full of Scots." Laughing, I go, "Come on." But you know what's interesting about that? Jack Catterall and Xander Martin should fight. The winner has to retire. There's no room at 140 for two boring southpaws. One of them needs to go.
There can only be one, like the Highland.
Well, is it Hitchens at 140 or is he at 135?
He's at 140.
He's at 142. He's 140.
So there's
they should make him and Devin Haney fight, and one of them has to retire.
Oh, the battle of the that's a great idea. The battle of the boring
who
fighter.
Has a better grip? Who has a better overhooks?
Wait.
You ever handed something in life, but you actually lost it? Don't act like Hitchens is doing on Twitter this week. Holy shit, bro. That guy's cringe as fuck.
What's the deal? What's he
saying? You know what? You make a good point, man. Hitchens is getting into it with people on Twitter. Jared Anderson. I don't know if you guys saw. Shakur Stevenson recently got into it with the guy. He said, "Cash me outside," like that whore from Dr. Phil. I mean, what's wrong with these dudes, man? Getting into it with a bunch of nobodies like us on Twitter. I know it's a little pathetic, don't you guys think?
Hitchens is just getting defensive, bro. The guy who talked that much and then performed like that, he's responding to anyone. You can talk shit to Hitchens right now, and he'll respond to you, I promise.
Yeah, but Martin was doing the same thing, though.
Yeah. It really gets to these guys. They're internet age. They're probably internet trolls themselves,
They got fake accounts. They troll other boxers.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That might be happening.
Well, you know what? It is because they grew up on the internet, and like a lot of the outlet, like you see, like how there's certain guys who jump on here and they say, the internet is basically real life, and your reputation on there is like really important to who you are. And a lot of these guys are tied to that for real, and they feel like they got to be there, like battling you. And I know we do the same thing here. We have fun, right? We're having fun, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's how how I see it. And this dude, he shouldn't really be going at it like hell in a cell with some random dude on a Twitter space saying meet me at the fight, saying I'm gonna be at the fight, meet me there. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You gonna fight him?
Yeah, I heard that. That's
and what? And then what? And then you gonna get sued? Like, what are you talking about, bro?
yeah, it's all
What
bullshit.
you gonna do? You gonna give me better seats so I can watch the fight?
Yeah, like
shit.
Nah, I think Shakur's credibility with the fans, it's over, bro. I don't really think there's a way to come back unless he starts knocking everyone out, which is not going to happen. So I don't think there's any way he can win the fans back, not with the way he's been acting on Twitter as of recent and social media. Like, come on, dude.
Shakur
Yes.
leader?
Yeah, Shakur.
Dude, he got onto one of Ryan Garcia's live streams. Like, what's it called? Twitter.
Yeah, Space.
Space. And dude, talk about like two bickering bitches. Shakur and Ryan are just bickering at each other. Like, no. Listen, man, no cap, man, no cap. You gonna fight me? Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You're boring.
Okay. You gonna fight me, man? You gonna fight me, man? Okay. Look, man. Cap, man. Don't cap, man. For sure. It's like,
bro. They grew up
dude,
on
they're
the
like children, bro. They're like adolescents.
And then nothing happens at the end of, it's like.
Yeah, they're like adolescents, dude. And they're just like bickering in front of all these other people inside those live streams. Yeah, these conspiracy theory faggots, and there's like these like fucking.
I have speed. Someone demonstrating his hand speed.
Yeah, they're all talking to Shakur, and Shakur's like, "Hold on, man. I don't want to talk to any of y'all, man. I want to talk to Ryan. Hey, you gonna fight me, man?" He's like, "Yeah, for sure. I bet you $1 million. Okay, I bet you $1 million." It's just like, God damn, like high school bitches bickering at each other,
$1 million. I'll bet you $1 million. It's better enough.
Just like, dude, you guys look so bad, dude. I don't know, man. I guess I shouldn't hold it against them. What are they, like in their early 20s, both of them? But they talk like they're like 17.
It looks bad to us. I don't know about kids in his age group, but it looks terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
The internet age. Yeah, we have these people that they fight more outside the ring than inside the ring. They fight more on Twitter and the social media platforms.
I think Shakur is the biggest at that, though, right now, man. All I hear is just Twitter call-outs from him. And like, oh, someone ducked Shakur because he called him out on Twitter, and that guy didn't respond the fight didn't happen, so he must have ducked Shakur. And people believe that shit.
What bothers me the most about that guy is that he talks like he's a knockout artist, like he's knocking people out. I mean, he technically is by hitting them in the dick, but actually knock them out by hitting him in the head. You know what I mean?
I don't know why he should get more flack for the Pacquiao crap that he pulled. He had history with this dude in the Olympics. Like, he knew it was a tough fight, and he blew weight for it. And bro, that was disgusting, bro. That would have been a tough fight. I don't even know if that probably would have been a 50-50 fight. He had to have a lot of trouble with, but he blew weight and cheated, and people just forget about that. That rubs me the wrong way, because Pacquiao went ahead and fought Navarrete and gave Navarrete a hell of a fight, and people hold that against Navarrete. No, because Shakur looked better. No, Shakur cheated in that fight. Like,
so why does he get all this attention? I don't understand. Do they do the stop?
I don't know
that they're gonna make all this money with this guy. Like, are they fucking blind?
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you why. The propaganda that they're trying to boast for African American fighters.
I mean,
honestly, I'd rather have
thing, but
Berlanga
it's
than
true,
Shakur.
though.
I'd rather have Berlanga than Shakur. I'm sorry.
No, like I'm saying, what Amok is saying is, like, I don't want to get into this race thing, but it's true though.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of black fighters to fucking get behind than Shakur's just boring. That's the bottom line to it. He's just I mean, he's got potential, but he's a prospect. I mean, I shouldn't call him a prospect, but he's probably he's just like a fringe dude, He's just boring.
Yeah, he should get those Rigo paychecks, and he shouldn't be getting real paychecks.
And he's in this contract. He's in this contract thing with Top Rank now, which is a further distraction. So he's like, he's just going to wind up re-signing with Top Rank, but that's his big thing right now is he's going to be a free agent now, and he's going to be just like Devin Haney, no power, precise matchmaking.
Boring.
Wake me up when his career's over.
Yeah, seriously, no. But your Top Rank, let's say Shakur becomes a free agent. Is that really a loss for you? Are you really losing something that important? No,
not at all. Nope.
That's why Aaron's like, we had a good run. That's what he said. He's like, we had a good run.
What?
He's like, dude, you're threatening to leave, and Top Rank. I mean, Bob Aaron probably doesn't get like too emotional over much, you know. He's probably just seen many of these guys come and go, but he's just like, yeah. It's
Can I
been
just
real.
say something? I was talking with the Rachel Shapiro the other day, and he sort of started telling me a little bit. He sort of started telling me something a little bit about tax write-offs, and I said, because they cook the books, and they everything's a tax write-off, and so I'm thinking maybe it's sort of something of a akin to a money laundering operation. By the way, Rachel Shapiro's exact quote was, "That's how we do it." I said, "Whoa, what are you trying to get at here, Rachel?" But the point is that that's what he was. That's what it led me to believe that maybe that's because Buchos asked a good question. They're not making money with this guy, so why do they insist on pushing some of these guys? It makes no sense.
He's a tax write-off. That's what he is.
Well, that's a good point because I know that like in Airbnb in Malibu, there's some big YouTubers. They rent out some of these $1 million homes. I know one of them is doing it for like a year, and they're using it as a tax write-off. That's a pretty good point, but yeah.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
I don't want to give out the channel of who, but I know for a fact there a few of them are.
Okay,
So
why is the
IRS coming at me over my 2018 taxes and not going after this idiot?
Don't pay it, bro. Don't pay it. I don't care what they took. Don't pay it.
From 2018, every year I get a letter every year that they say I owe money.
Don't pay them.
Every year. I don't think so.
Oh shit! I think I got one. Anyways,
you remember you don't agree to anything. Just remember.
Anthony Lopez with a super chat. He says,
deny.
He says, hold on, super chat. Anthony Lopez says, facts. Shakira went on Garcia's live trying to get a fight, but Navarrete has said he wants to fight Shakur, and I think Navarrete would give him problems, to be honest. Of course he would. No, there's so many fights. Yeah.
You know why Navarrete gives him problems? Because Navarrete fights every minute, every second of a round. Shakur is boring. He's trying to like avoid that. So he's like, damn, maybe I could beat this guy, but what if I can't stop him from fighting every second of that round?
And I think that's why he cheated versus Conceição, because Conceição fights that way, bro.
Yep.
I think that's why he blew weight for that fight, because he knew that he would have to go to war with that guy, and he wanted to be lazy and didn't want to do it.
Honestly, I think Shakur beats him. If I'm gonna be honest, though, he's just gonna hit him in the dick and tire him out like that.
Navarrete?
Yeah, he'll just hit him in the dick constantly.
Referee on his side.
Yeah,
and he's
of course,
do
yeah,
all that shit and hit the balls. Yeah.
He might even get a stoppage for hitting him in the dick like 100 times that night.
Like Andre Ward.
I Am Your Leader is gonna go to. We're gonna see I Am Your Leader in court one of these days for the tax thing. He's gonna be a sovereign citizen type of defense. He's gonna use. I'm here concerning this matter as a third party intervener.
Dude, every year, bro. Every year around this time, I'll be getting a letter, and it's crazy, dude. I don't owe them anything, bro.
Don't turn into Wesley Snipes, man. You saw what they did to him. If they want you, they'll get you, man.
Different. Wesley Snipes was
DMX.
He was messing up. Let's just put it that way, man. He fucked up.
Wasn't he banging a bunch of flat ass Asians in the Philippines or something?
No, that was Kobe Bryant.
Oh
shit.
Hey, leader, just be like Mayweather and just pay him, and then just take a picture of him and put it on Twitter. Like, look what I just did. I just paid the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
And with bags of
this
money.
Fucking fruit.
With a bunch of
this
bags.
fucking fruit writes out a $30 million check and then takes a picture of it.
It's an L.
You just paid that. Like, that's for this year or some shit. Shut the fuck up.
IRS. But I was
show me a picture of you mailing that check. Fucking dickhead. I'll write you I could write a $30 million check right now and take a picture of it. Easy. Here, check this out.
Yeah.
That's what little kids do, by the way.
Don't try to cash it.
They have this check. Yeah, that's insane, man.
Hey,
But
guys, next week we have Ryan Garcia versus Haney. Do you guys feel any hype? I don't feel anything for this.
I don't really feel any hype. I mean, I'm excited. I'm not really, but I just want to see the fight. It'll be interesting. Whatever happens, I'm interested to see the outcome.
Garcia's going to get worked. He's totally distracting himself. Bro, he gets on those lives and he's like, people are like, hey, how you feeling for the fight? And he's like, let's not talk about boxing. I don't want to talk about boxing.
Holy shit.
It's like
what do you
you're
want
in
to
the middle
about?
of a training camp right now. You're in the middle. You're in the midst of a training camp. 2 weeks from your fight, and you're like, okay, no boxing questions.
Did you see the latest? Did you see the latest thing he put? Frank Bay posted on the Discord yesterday. He makes a video. He's got this tank top and it's all ripped open.
Yeah.
He's like, I just got jumped by 10 guys, and then he goes 5 seconds later, I just got jumped by 15 guys, but these 20 fucking guys couldn't do anything. It's like, what the fuck? And then he says they beat me up, and he shows a little nick.
Yeah.
On the post. I'm thinking, is this guy going nuts or what's going on?
Is he fucking insane at this point? Bohemian Grove and all that shit. What's going on? Like,
I'm telling you, he's just like a
MK Ultra.
He's just like a delusional. He's distracted. He's trying to distract himself.
No, he's on that Scante, dude.
Except for
no, MK Ultra, man. MK Ultra.
He's just on Scante. He'll be fine, man. Just let him sleep it off.
I could care if he's fine or not. I mean, I don't care if he gets decimated or not. It's not going to prove anything about Haney, but he's just like,
I have a feeling Ryan's
save the children, save the children. I seen a baby get raped in the ass, and then they drank blood out of his ass, and then they ate him. You should see what I've seen. I'm going to Congress. I'm going to be president. It's like, okay, dude, you're like a junkie, man.
He said, I'm a god. You can touch me. I'm a god.
I imagine
he actually said that.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
No, he didn't say that.
No. He said, if you seen what I seen. He goes, they took a baby and they ate it. They drank blood out of it. And people are like, what?
What?
You saw that? And he's like, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to show my evidence to Congress. It's like,
yeah, that's what he said. He's not kidding around. That's what he said. He said that. He said, I got the proof. He said he had proof about UFOs too. You know, black
got raped.
That wasn't without
the babies got raped and saved the children. Come on. Yeah. If you don't support me, you're the devil. That's it.
You know what? I can actually imagine Ryan Garcia doing right now. I think he's like in Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights. He's just sitting around in his house with the blinds closed. They're all doing coke, talking about how they're gonna get their tapes back, the master plan to get their tapes back, and that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna show up on. Chief broke it down perfectly too in the Discord. He said he's gonna try to give it his all in order to salvage it as a. Well, he'll do better next time. And that's going to be the selling. That's what they're going to try to sell his next fight on.
It's too many. Second time, it can work once, but twice, I'm not sure. Depends also how he loses. By the way, Ed Dog, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Salute, guys. When is the next Second Renaissance? I want to hear BDA's thoughts after watching the J-Lo documentary."
Now, first of all, I didn't watch the fucking J-Lo documentary. That's number one. We watched we made fun of the trailer. That's where we left it. I'm not gonna fucking sit around watching it.
Watch that shit.
You watched it.
Nah, I didn't watch it. Although I did hear that she's been getting roasted for her delusion. She actually did 3 different movies. One's a musical, the other's like some sort of a tour, and then the other one's a documentary, the making of those 2 things, and it's bombing. So
are you sure it's a documentary and not an adult
listen,
film?
I'll watch it if she goes in there and she spreads her ass.
Me too.
I'll watch it then. But other than that, what the fuck am I gonna watch that for?
She's getting trolled. They keep screaming at her. Selena made you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. That movie. Where'd she come from?
Can you imagine that your whole life? Like everywhere you go, they're like, Selena made you.
Yeah. Well, what does that mean? Recognize?
She plays Selena.
Yeah.
I decided I had to come on and save this boring ass stream. Everybody's just agreeing with each other.
Here we go.
Bye. I'm going.
Echo chamber, man. You guys are fucking boring, man.
Bye.
Holy shit.
Bye.
We're all singing Kumbaya, man. What is this?
Not today, man. Not today.
I'm going
today.
Bye.
Oh, you got a little headache. You got a little headache, Bucho.
Yeah, it's just tired.
You can't take it. Well,
No.
Log
Raj,
off.
don't you have something to do today?
Are you drinking?
Don't you have something to do today?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm cooking your ass.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
It's 8 in the morning over there in Australia.
Jeez.
8 in the morning and over in
Cooking your
Australia.
fucking ass, mate.
Man.
That affect
Cooking your ass, mate.
Hey, Mirage,
Pageantry at
can
its
you
finest.
translate? Mirage, can you translate what Benavidez was saying in that interview? Because I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Hey, he's just having some fun. He's having some fun. He works hard.
Understand what he was saying under that.
Hey,
on that.
do you know what? Do you know what's funny? That version of Benavidez, drunk off his face, he'll still beat Canelo.
Yeah,
That's what's up. He'll still fuck him up.
You insane.
Drunk
Yeah,
off his
you,
fucking
yeah,
face.
you little wallaby.
You see
You know, you
Canelo's
said you were
interview
gonna
yesterday?
Mirage,
you see a little boy Canelo interview yesterday?
You said
Mirage.
you were gonna come here and you said you were gonna come here and spice things up, and then the first thing comes to your mouth. Benavidez. Ah, man, come on, man.
Well, you know, I did bring him up. To be fair to Mirage.
That's the spice right there. Did you see the interview, Canelo's interview? Oh, I don't want nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that fight. Nothing.
Good.
Yeah,
Your
good.
hero let you down. Are you upset? Look, if I was supporting, can I talk? If David
You're sucking the
did
entire
something like
time.
that,
What the fuck are you talking about?
if David let me down like that, I'd be disappointed. Are you disappointed? Canelo let you down, Bucho. BDA, are you disappointed he let you down?
Interesting, but I don't really think this is.
And you're boring, Mirage. You're boring.
Yeah, it's
You're like
Hey,
a sassy
you know what I'm saying?
teenager.
Can you answer the
Like a
question? Are
sassy
you
teenager that
disappointed?
gets arrested for shoplifting? Like,
Are you
what are you gonna do about
disappointed your hero let you down? Are you disappointed?
Not at all. He didn't let us down. He let you
What
down.
do you mean? Your hero let you down. He ducked the entire 175 division for how many years?
Can I get an answer?
4 years.
You're not disappointed.
That's
So you
the
just
answer.
roll with
That's
it.
the answer. He's been ducking 175 for 4 years. That's
So
the answer.
you just roll with it. Whatever it gives you, you just take it. You roll with it.
No,
That's
he was
the
ranked at
game boy.
175 since 2020. That's a fact. Go look it up, dumbass.
I'm talking about Canelo. You want to deflect. You want to talk about David. I'm talking about
You're
Canelo.
deflecting yourself. What do you mean?
Listen, Canelo.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
making
all
the topic.
in relation
Mirage.
to David Benavidez, bro.
Yeah,
David Benavidez was
everything
hiding at
relates to
168. It's a fact.
So you're not
Mirage, you should be
disappointed.
more concerned about not what this guy says or this guy, because they can say whatever they want, but what matters is what happens in the ring. And if you look at Canelo's record and resume, what he achieved when he was the same age as Benavidez, you're gonna see that the problem is not Canelo, it's Benavidez. Why is his career so shitty? Like,
I don't think Canelo is going to be in Benavidez' future, so I don't know how much of a fan of Benavidez you actually are going to be in the future. You know what I mean? If he doesn't fight Canelo, are you even going to be a fan?
I'm a legitimate fan, yeah. I'm a legitimate fan.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Samson Lukowicz. I mean, take what
There
he
we go,
says.
Samson. Why don't we go back to Samson?
Because he says one thing one day, he says the other the next, and he said Benavidez weighs in 220. He walks around 220. So I mean, this guy, he just needs to get a grip.
Why do you say that, BDA? I heard you guys.
Who cares what he walks around at? Who
earlier
cares
shows.
what he walks around at? What do you mean? What's the point?
Bro, shut your fucking hole for 1 second. BDA, where did? Because I heard you guys talking about that on previous shows, but was that an interview? Was that a tweet? Where was that at? That Samson said that.
BDA.
Hello.
Even if he did say that, so
Does
what?
anybody know me?
I think his phone rang. That's what happened.
He does. I don't think he walks around at 220. That's 100 kilos, man. He's not a fucking.
He's not that big, Mirage. He walks around. He's in shape. He walks around 195, 200.
Yeah, about 200. Well, David said about 200 pounds. He was interviewed. He said what he walks around at 195, 200.
Why is he calling out a guy that?
Yeah, dude, I've seen David Benavidez. People don't understand. They look at his size and his height and all that shit and think he's this like huge guy. His muscles aren't as dense as Canelo's and anything like that. Like, don't get me wrong, he weighs more than Canelo, but the whole Canelo dick washing campaign that he's 40, 50 pounds bigger than Canelo, walks around like at a cruiserweight.
I don't know who said that.
It's total bullshit. It's not real at all. That guy,
Of course, Canelo is gonna look more dense if he's 5'7.5".
Yeah, but Canelo's 5'7".
But he has the same shoulder.
He's 5'7.5", dude. Let that shit sink in.
Whose fault is that?
Are you saying they have the same
Whose fault
shoulder
is that?
length? Are you saying they have the same shoulder length? How do you know
James
that?
Bond is that, I guess.
Like, Canelo's got broad shoulders. Canelo's got broad shoulders.
Yeah, that dude was fighting
Broad shoulders.
That dude
got
was
a
a
tape
kid
measure?
fighting at 140, 147 pounds. So people act like he's a little guy. No, he's built like a
What are you
fucking
complaining about? Oh, David's too big. David's too big.
Dora
too
looked
big
at
for-
both of their shoulders and figured out.
David's too big for my little Canelo.
Canelo's
Please,
the same size.
please stop bullying Canelo.
Yo,
David's too
notice
big.
that you don't even hear the same argument for Crawford, dude.
Crawford was
This
a
is the most
135.
weak-ass argument possible. You've resorted to, he's too big.
I'm not gonna fault Canelo for not fighting a guy that's like should be fighting guys his size, bro.
But they're in the same division. They're in the same division.
The thing is, he should just come out and say that,
He
though.
campaigns there like a lot of fighters do.
They've
Like,
been in the same division for like 4 years.
like
What are you
to
talking
manipulate
about?
the weights, you
But
know?
Canelo should just come out and say that, leader, instead of like posturing with this.
I got
he brings to
you.
the
I
table.
got you.
Hang on. I'm not
You're
Mirage,
right.
so I'm not a stalking fuck. So just hold on for a second. The thing about it is, like, instead of just saying what does he bring to the table except for 25 more pounds, setting up this like catch weight rehydration tactic that's going to go on in the future. It's like they don't want to pay him the minimum. They want to pay him double the money that they're offering him that he would make now later on, so that he could cut weight and not rehydrate.
Hey,
and I know Canelo's gone up in the weight, but he's willing to go to cruiserweight and shit. He can't say that a guy at 168 or 175 even is too big. He's trying to go to cruiserweight.
I don't think it's about the weight. I don't think that's about the weight. But why was Lukowitz asking for a TV rights?
Okay.
Pucho,
that was hypothetically when they're
let me hear.
Shut up! Shut up for 10 seconds. Shut your mouth.
Hurry up!
Sit there and shut up for a second.
Hurry up, bitch!
The thing about that interview, because I listened to that interview that morning on the Boxing Voice with Sampson. If you listen to what he said, he meanders when he talks, like he's in no rush to talk. He's casual and everything. But Ness asked him about that. How can you ask for the TV rights? How can you ask for it to be aired on Amazon when he's going to go over there on DAZN? And what he said was the same thing that Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis had. Like if Canelo went over to DAZN and we were still at PBC, if Benavidez was still at PBC, all we want is the same thing that Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia had. So it's not like he wanted.
That's not the same thing though. There's a difference because David Benavidez, he's not even the B side. He could literally be the fucking D side or the F side.
But the problem is, this is all irrelevant. They're both with the PBC. This is a fucking red herring deflection.
These guys were asking for too much. I don't know what the
important part is, though, Sam Lukowitz was asking for the American rights. That's the ones that pay, and that's the one that Amazon's going to pay attention to. So it's the American rights. It wasn't like he said, okay, like what they did with Garcia, the zone had international rights. PBC had American rights, so they had the good slice. And he was asking for the same thing. We want the good slice. You guys can take the fringe. And that was why.
But does any of that matter if they're both on the PBC?
Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia were aired on DAZN and on PBC. You could order it on both. You could have it on both.
Does any of this matter if they're both with the PBC? Answer yes or no.
Jimmy.
So you can't.
When Garcia and Tank fought, you could order it in the United States on DAZN and on
ducking
PBC.
questions like Canelo ducks the heat.
Shut up, motherfucker! Man, Jesus fucking Christ! Fucking mouth.
David's not a household name.
Then you should have said yes. Then you should have said no. You should have said.
Shut the fuck up! What a fucking.
Are you talking to me, Mirage? You fucking.
I don't
faggot?
even know. These guys are
about?
annoying.
Yeah, he was talking.
No, Pete, hey, brother, but honestly, I'm like you, dude. Listen, I want to see the fight. Of course, that's the fight I want to see. I have a gut feeling, and this is just completely off my gut, that it might even happen in September. That being said, I want to see the fight, but I'm not at the same breath, and I'm not saying you do this because I know you don't. I'm not going to denounce, belittle Canelo's achievements and try to prop up fucking Benavidez because he has none. You know what I mean? That's what drives me crazy about the fucking the Benavidez fanboys. It's like, listen, you can be angry, fucking stomp your feet and hold your breath till you turn gay all you want about the fight not happening. But what you can't do and not be considered a fucking hypocritical troll is talk about who Canelo has fought or who he's gonna fight when your guy haven't done nothing.
168.
Jimmy, we're talking about Canelo.
And Canelo fought. How about this one? I don't even care if the fight happens or not. Like I could give a fuck if these guys fight ever, any of them.
Well, you're not a real boxing fan.
I can't. I'm not a stalking.
No, you're not.
I'm not a stalking fucking lunatic. Okay.
No. I just want to see the best fight.
I'm not going to beg anybody to do anything, so I could give a fuck if they all vaporize off the planet tomorrow.
Then shut up. You're irrelevant. You're a waste of time.
Here's my point.
If you want to see the best
fight, shut the fuck up and let him talk, man.
You're such an ignorant faggot. I actually.
You don't let me talk.
I actually agree with you.
You don't let me talk.
Ignorant faggot.
Hear from you, fuckhead.
Hey, can I just say real quick? I don't understand why people keep humoring this drunk. I mean, he's clearly drunk, and it's 8 in the morning over there. And moreover, he's also admitted before that he doesn't even pay to watch these fights.
Yeah, he didn't even know who Adonis Stevenson.
No, that's not true, Mr. Briere. He said that he bought the David Benavidez plant fight, and I'm still waiting for the receipt that he supposedly had.
I timed him out for an hour because I just get the same old shit.
I don't care what
He's
the hell he does or buys.
It's just the same shit constantly over and over.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing with him. I just can't talk when he's talking over, like when he's just interfering with the conversation. But Jimmy, what I was saying was the thing about it is,
dude, you told Mirage.
Let's just keep it accurate. Let's just keep it accurate, point by point.
On here, I don't understand what the fuck you're saying. You've done nothing but belittle this guy and interrupt him too. Now you're fucking crying like he's the only one doing it. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, he's the only one doing it. There's a fucking consensus. Go read the chat, man. Every time Mirage is on the show, I read the comments that people leave after the live stream, and they're like, you're gonna see three people complaining that this guy's just nonstop, like fucking annoying. I know
Dora, you talking to me, dude?
Hey, Dora, fuck Mirage. What are you talking
dude, you were
about?
telling him to shut the fuck up the entire time. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
No, he interrupts. He's rude. He repeats himself. He says the same shit every fucking time. It's like he doesn't follow boxing, Dora. He couldn't tell me.
Yeah, the fight will never happen as a fantasy fight because Canelo doesn't.
By the way, Dora saying that Dora is typing. Hold on. We have Dora saying, "Let me rush back on." Jid Liquor, BDA quit docking the heat. I mean, first of all, he's fucking annoying. That's why I didn't kick him out because he disagrees with me. Actually, I want people to disagree so we can have a fucking debate. But this guy's fucking annoying. He's interrupting the whole fucking time. And by the way, we kicked him before and we let him back on. So, it's not like we're fucking docking this guy. What the fuck are we docking?
It's on timeout.
It's a timeout.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because he behaves in other streams.
I'm sorry to cut you off, brother, but I'd say just establish it right up front when he gets on. When he first blurts on, just say, listen, dude, here's the thing, dude. You can say your piece, but let Pete finish his fucking sentence, man.
Exactly.
That's all.
I just want to say that he's in his best behavior in other streams, but when he comes over here, he acts different.
Hey, can you guys hear me? What's up? No, I was just gonna say, I think Benavidez, doesn't he stream those fights on OnlyFans? So I feel like, isn't Mirage paying for that?
Oh shit.
Ooh.
So I think he is paying for these fights. You know?
Yeah,
he's sitting there saying Mexican monster, and that heavy breathy voice he has.
Well,
Mexican monster.
Oh, you gotta wait for him to get back, dude.
Yeah, let him get back.
And by the way, he says, he says that everyone agreeing with each other is boring. Well, if we find something that we disagree with, it's going to happen. You can't just barge in and do it inorganically like he does. You can't astroturf it. I mean, I know that's the way they do it over in Australia, but over here on this side of the ocean.
But we were talking about Ryan Garcia and Devin, and he's like, "Are you guys talking about this bullshit?" And all I asked him was a question about Benavidez, and that just led to a fucking...
Yeah, by the way, that's true. Let's blame Recognize for this. Butcher, how do we kick people off again? How do we kick people off again of Discord?
Come on, man.
No, his latest thing is he comes in and says, let me liven up this fucking dead podcast. Like we've been saying. All right. Thank God Mirage is here to save us.
Exactly.
No, I was listening for the first hour, and you guys were talking about classic fights, and I was content to just listen. It was an interesting conversation. Then he comes in talking about not even interrupting a conversation about a fight that's actually happening at the end of the month with speculation over the same old shit. How many times can you beat the same dead horse?
Exactly. I mean,
who said this? Who said what? You're just counting these people's pockets. We have no idea what's going on. It's we're seeing a turn.
And I notice every Open Lines Friday turns into a Canelo Benavidez fucking show with Mirage.
Yeah.
The last one, Bucho, was
unbelievable. It's a fair topic. It's a fair topic. It's just you only like me and Dora can go back and forth or something. Or I can just ask him that question, but I'll ask a question, then I'll listen to him talk, then I'll talk, and he can talk. That's the only thing I'm saying. I don't care about his opinion.
Pete. That's the problem with Dora. You can't go back and forth because as soon as you say something,
I just had
something that you disagree with, as soon as you say something that he disagrees with, he'll just jump in and start spazzing out.
I mean, well, he was claiming that Pete was the one that was calling, being aggressive or something.
Which is fair enough. I mean, but at least I could have that conversation with Dora. But Mirage, he would just talk at the same time. Two people talking at the same time sounds like interference. Sounds like nothing, you know?
I mean, listen, Pete's a lot of things, man. Pete's a lot of things. He's boorish, he's loud, obnoxious. Some people even say dumb, but he doesn't interrupt people.
He's
fat.
he's all those bad things.
Fat.
Okay, I didn't say that, but come on, I didn't say that.
I'm saying it. No, the thing about it is, the thing is, I agree with Mirage and Dora. I mean, on the merits, like on the base level, like I side with
accusation.
Yeah. But I can't have a conversation with Jimmy if this fruit's talking over me, you know? That's all I was saying. Let him back on, dude. It's Open Lines Friday. Get the hell with it. We've had
I just want to say, recognize. I dig the new profile pic. That's just a sick photo of Margarito.
Margarito, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool one with the devil beard. And that's him in his element. He got I mean, you guys have talked about this too, but he got the short end of the stick. He got really shafted by the whole boxing industry.
You're absolutely correct there, man. People, even to this day, people say, oh, he had plaster in his gloves. He didn't have plaster. That seems fucking insane. First of all, it's an insane notion that someone's going to walk in there with plaster. It's not, there's even a dispute about whether that even is even effective, an effective training technique. And you tell me
it clearly isn't. It's just like the amount of sweat you get in the leather of your glove weighs you down considerably. But imagine having pounds of plaster. How is that going to help you? You know.
Once I became aware of the evidence, like, look, it's okay if you don't know what transpired and you came to a conclusion, or you say, look, I heard that guy cheated. You know, I'm okay with that. But when you're like, oh, that's it, he cheated, I don't care, I don't want to hear nothing else, despite the evidence, then I'm like, okay, then you're not having an honest conversation then, because you would know that he would have went to jail. Bottom line, it happened already.
Well, recognize here's the other thing. Nassim Richardson, aka Brother Nassim, who was the guy that grabbed the wraps. First of all, something fell out of the wraps, and he took it and left the room for a good 20 minutes, I believe. That's what Gabriel Montoya said. So there were no inspectors overseeing what he could have done anything to it. Now, some people say, yeah, well, then how come Margarito didn't say anything about it? Here's what Margarito said on the Eric Morales podcast. He was saying that now, finally, 15 years later, he's gonna do something about it, and he's gonna get some legal representation to clear his name. And then he's talking about what happened that day. And he goes, when Mosley's trainer and he starts going, he doesn't even know who Nassim Richardson was. That's how uneducated he is. So when people go, well, why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? He's a fucking boxer. I hate to break it to most people, but these guys are not exactly legal experts. Let alone guys that are looking at the finer things of the contract and such things like that. So, yeah, he didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then Bob Arum probably sweet-talked him saying, like, listen, they're not going to do anything to you, so just let it go. We'll get you a quota rematch later on. That's what happened. That's why he was content with it. But his reputation has been tarnished as some sort of what was the guy who cheated with Panama Louis? Luis Resto.
Luis Resto, yeah.
They try to equate him with Luis Resto, and it's nothing close to that. Oh, and by the way, Nassim Richardson, too, when they asked him whether he was going to press charges or whatever, he declined. Why would he? He was quoted as saying he wanted to kill Margarito. So he goes from wanting to kill Margarito because the offense was so great. Then finally he decided, I'm not going to press charges. Or he didn't even show up to testify at the.
I understand that also Nassim has played these tricks before. He did this with Bernard Hopkins. He was trying to like set the tone that Trinidad was stacking or doing something with his gloves. And before a lot of people don't realize this, before the Trinidad fight, Hopkins versus Trinidad, basically they just made Trinidad rewrap his gloves all over again. The same way.
Yeah, just get in his head.
Yeah.
Floyd did that to Maidana too, right? Remember with the gloves? His gloves, even though they're the same Everlast gloves, he's like, no, these have no padding, and then he wore the exact same ones.
You know what? Yeah, the other thing too is he tried to do it to Jermaine Taylor too. And he went up, he goes, those hand wraps, a quarter of an inch over the wrist or whatever. And the only thing that saved Jermaine Taylor was that his trainer, Pat Burns, was a white guy that looks like a cop. So I think that sort of intimidated Nassim Richardson a little bit, reminding him of the old days. But I mean, he tried the same thing. He tried it a bunch of times with other fighters. Oh, that half an inch over the wrist or some random shit that tried to make him re-wrap.
Then he got busted fucking around, messing with his fighter's gloves. In other words, making the thumb loose. And we seen what he did with Cunningham. And he actually got busted. He actually got busted in the fight.
Wasn't he also the one with the drink?
No, I don't know about that.
That was Panama Lewis.
Oh, Panama Lewis. There you go. He was the one who was also involved with the
Aaron Pryor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Louis Resto and Panama Lewis.
Resto. Fuck yeah, he did a bunch of shady shit. Sorry,
I'm talking about Nassim Richardson. Nassim Richardson messed with people's gloves, messed with his fighter's glove, Cunningham.
Yeah.
And he fought an African dude who fought out of Canada. And if you go look, you can see the thumb going to purposely going to the African guy.
Recognize, Cunningham.
He accused Fury of cheating. Cunningham accused Fury.
Yeah. I was going to say that. Yeah. Cunningham accused Fury.
I thought Cunningham just did that because Fury beat him up and he was salty. But
when he fought, what's his name, Glowacki. When he fought Glowacki, his trainer. They didn't make a big deal out of it because I don't know if they could have, but they looked at the gloves that they selected and Glowacki's trainer, and he's like, no, not this fucking glove, because the glove was already tampered with. The gloves that they picked out for Cunningham to wear.
Yeah, I still think the dirtiest, most tampered-looking gloves I've ever seen was Crawford's glove.
Yeah,
fight.
I agree. Crawford.
I still that glove looked like it had been used.
I am your leader. It wasn't one glove. It was gloves.
Gloves, yeah, both. I don't know. The design was off. Like, bro, these gloves and Everlast.
I've used those MX gloves.
Were they?
I just want to say I've used those Everlast MX.
Everlast, MX.
Yeah,
MX. So they have horsehair.
I know, but I look at a lot of MX gloves, and those don't. I know the horsehair. I know they do look kind of beat up, but go look at the Crawford Avenues, and those look like an extra type of beat up, more than your average MX horsehair glove. Like,
I mean, I've gotten new MX gloves that came fully crinkled.
I got them too. I got fully crinkled MX gloves as well. But
you know what I was told about those gloves? I was told that you're supposed to at least have 72 hours out of the bag before you fight in them. It takes up to 72 hours if they're vacuum sealed to get their right shape. I wonder if I'm just trying to, guesstimate what could have happened to make them look so jacked up.
That's a good point. They come very crinkled, like you said. So it could have just been that they were just vacuum sealed until the fight.
They might have waited too long.
Busted it open though. That was awfully strange, bro. And Everlast was quick.
That would be on all in that. That'd be on Everlast too.
I know.
When gloves break when gloves break like that, they break because they're either super dry or they're old. Those are brand new gloves, man.
It could have been a defective thinner.
But those guys punch so hard though. That happens a lot, especially not as much nowadays because the thumb's all one molded piece. But back in the day when the thumb was sewn, do you remember that like 8 years they sewed the thumb fall apart almost every fight. It was crazy. After a while they stopped even because you run the risk of thumbing someone in the eye much easier with the thumbs not a part of the glove, but it was never a part of the glove for time immemorial. So I don't know why they had a fucking and fighters survive with it. But I want to say real quick too. I talked to somebody who's forgotten more about training than I mean, this dude's a fucking legend and shit. And I was like, I said, am I right to say that if somebody was to use Castor Polaris? No, look, I said, no, most people think they're trying to create some kind of caste system. And I was saying that to him, dude. He started like fucking laughing in my face. He said, no. Yeah. He said, no, what it is, it's the lime. Back in the days when Pastor Polaris used to be made with a lot stronger lime in the 40s and the 50s. Like, real, like if you put your hands wet and you stuck them in Pastor Polaris, I don't know, see, I'm butchering that up there, but it would burn, and if you get in your eyes, forget about it. So he said that's where that whole fucking thing, it's so easy to keep a little in your pocket, right? Grab somebody's glove and touch their glove with it in your hand, go, hey, touch these gloves. They think it's Pastor. And he was using that to fucking blind my fighter. That would be the reason for the past, that shit, because it's never going to make your hand harder than that fucking wrap and tape job. Believe me. If anything, that shit would just cut your fingers up, and it also burn and make your fingers so raw from that lime being in between your fingers all wet. It'd be ridiculous to do something like that. It would be to be put on the outside of the glove to get in your fighting opponent's eyes. So I just want to put that out there. And I'm not saying he did it either.
Leather. They could only do that, like you were saying, when there was only leather and there was no foam mid-layer, because it would just
give the gloves up to an hour before the fight started. Sometimes 3 hours before a fight started, so your trainer could literally bend the pet glove back and forth. So by the time the second round, you literally just leather over your fucking wrapped hands. And I'll tell you right now, I said it the other night, I'd rather get punched in the face with a bare knuckle, I don't give a fuck by who, than anybody with a wrapped hand with a slice of leather over it. Because you don't hold back.
By the way, Jimmy's half Italian, so he knows a thing or two about lime. You dig the hole. You dig the hole this time. I got no more lime.
What, you think I got no fucking lime? You think I've never dug a hole?
No, wait, BBA, I just want to say real quick about the Nassim thing. That's a great point about him not prosecuting, bringing any charges. That would be like if you had a fight with a fighter, right, and then you accuse him of all kinds of things, including putting egg weights into his gloves, and then you had a rematch with him, and then you just sat there like a retard with like noise canceling headphones at the press conference and sunglasses on, like a retarded child, and not saying anything. That's what that would be like. I don't know if you guys agree, but that's kind of what I feel about that. Good thing it's never happened, right?
Exactly. But can I just say that too about Nassim Richardson is, look, I understand there's competitive edge involved when, trainers, their fighters lose, whatever. But Nassim Richardson took it a little bit farther, because I remember when Fury fought Cunningham, and Nassim Richardson's getting into it with Fury, and he got personal. So Fury ends up being the shit out of Cunningham, and then Nassim Richardson at the end goes, this guy said he was a good boxer, but then he started using his size. He had to get dirty, become dirty. I understand. When you panic, that's what you got to do. So it was being passive-aggressive after the fight. Then, when you had Wilder Fury 1, which a lot of people felt Fury should have won, they asked him, hey, who did you think won the fight? He goes, well, I knew they weren't going to give the decision to Wilder. I mean, the way they were scoring it, I knew he wasn't going to get it. The way I scored it, I think Wilder did enough to win. I'm thinking, really? You thought those 2 knockdowns were enough to offset the 8 other rounds that Tyson Fury won? That's interesting, man. So,
he says it all, Mr. BDA.
I mean, he doesn't like the complexion of that guy's skin, bro.
Well, I didn't say that.
Name says it all.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
A militant Islamist.
Was he Kennedy McWilliams' trainer, or am I getting that wrong?
Kennedy Williams.
Yeah, he was a good fighter, like in the 90s, early 2000s, I think. Pete. Do you remember?
I know he first started appearing in Hopkins' corner in 97, 98. But by then he was Bowie Fischer was the head trainer. But I know Nassim Richardson trained a guy named Carl Dragan, I think, which is one of the most badass names for a boxer. But he was this up and coming American that everyone was saying was going to be the next great thing, and then a Canadian of all people ended up beating him on ESPN. I remember Nassim Richardson in that core.
Kennedy McKinney. I got the name wrong.
Oh no, that was Georgie Benton. That was Georgie.
Oh,
Benton.
okay. Okay, never mind. That's the great trainer. Yeah.
McKinney, he was the black dude with the freckles.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
He was a very talented fighter. Never got over the hump, but very skilled.
Okay, can I just say something about going back to the Crawford thing? Look, I and the gloves. I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but I did find it kind of like telling of his character that when the gloves did burst open, he was trying to hide it a little bit there, like like a kid who gets a cookie from the jar, tries to hide it behind his. That's what he was doing. But that's what it seems.
But Mr. BDA, the reason why you would, as a fighter, you don't want to get cold. You know what I mean? It could be cold in the arena. I'm not saying, listen, he wasn't trying to hide, but I'm saying if he wanted to hide it, because listen, he knew it was just a matter of when he was going to knock that kid out. He knew he was light years ahead of him in talent. You know what I'm saying? I think what it was, he just didn't want to go through the fucking taking the glove off and putting it back on and shit and getting cold. Because I can't see, like, I always try to, like, okay, assess the threat. Like, why would he want to even do that against? And you say his opponent just a badass and he's trying to get every conceivable possible advantage. No, he was in there toying with that dude. And then he fucking put him away. You know,
maybe they were trying to prepare for
the. Let me just say this, Amok. Let me just say, then that's what I'm saying. It's telling of his character because it's already easy for him to beat a Venetian. Now he's gonna do it with compromised gloves. I mean, that's an
excellent point. That's an excellent point.
So that's what I'm saying. His character. I understand what you're saying. That like I understand you're not justifying it. You're explaining it. But that, to me, that's what's telling about it. That you don't need to beat up on this guy with compromise. And I'm not saying the gloves. Look, it might have been or might not have been a worse beating because maybe the padding could have gone out, right? But we didn't get to see it all because he ended up knocking him out in that very round. But imagine if it wouldn't have. I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Plus, torn gloves. The dangers of torn gloves is cutting a retina in your eye, slicing somebody's eye with you know, it whips through the face like if you miss, but the leather piece hangs out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they always want to make sure everything's taped down so, you know, it doesn't slash the fighter's eye.
I see your point, but honestly,
I just wanted to say that, like, if you wanted to get experience cheating and you wanted to start cheating, I wouldn't be doing it on the biggest fight of your night. I'd be doing it on a lesser fight.
Black Prime, baby.
It was a lesser fight.
And I can understand.
Yeah, it was. Evanesia's a lesser fight than Spence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is a lesser fight. So,
I thought you said it wasn't.
On a network, no one knows.
Crawford always knew he was going to destroy. He was going to.
They even had a female ref. You notice it. There's a female ref. Speaking of lesser fight.
I gotta ask though. Yeah, Amok, are you saying that he might have done something for the Spence fight?
That's possible. I wouldn't doubt it, dude, because his Crawfords are very suspicious. One glove in itself is suspicious, but to have both of them burst like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so I mean, I had gloves.
That's the Venetian fight, though. That's not the Spence fight, though.
I don't relate that to the Spence fight, and I think the Spence fight was all up. Everything was up and up. Everything was good, but the Venetian fight, I have questions about, bro.
Yeah, in the Spence fight, Crawford could have had like 2-pound gloves. He still would have beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was a surgical. Like, listen, I don't do this often, but literally, I've watched that fight probably no bullshit. I watch it at least once a week.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
I've seen it so many times. He was so on point on that fight. Dude, that was insane. I watched it again. Every punch he threw was the right punch, went to throw it. He was a split second quicker. He read everything Spence was doing. He had connected at a 60% rate as power shots. That's insane. I've never even seen a welterweight championship fight that even come close.
Yeah.
Never. What you're saying is, like, for instance, let's say you got a science, project you got to do. Why would you experiment on your finals?
Yeah, but who's to say he did experiment in the finals?
Yeah.
I mean,
why would his gloves explode like that?
But that's not. But he doesn't design and make gloves. He picks the gloves. They always reps come to you. Usually in fight week, there's usually tables there, and they'll have all their lines of gloves laid out for you. And so fighters have changed gloves.
So you're saying fighters can't tamper their gloves?
No, they don't get them. They never actually touch them. Let me finish. Well, let me finish. This is what happens. You go over to them. They give you a big fat magic marker. They're in the package. You sign them. You sign the gloves you want for the fight. They then take them. They hand them to the commission. The commission holds on to those gloves until they're brought to you in your room, and the commission never takes his eyes off them. From the time they sign the fucking hand wrap and they sign the back of the glove, and then they follow you out to the ring. At no time are you left alone to touch those gloves.
Okay,
That's
well, I'm glad
exactly how that works.
I'm glad you mentioned the commission, because when those gloves bursted open, the commission looked at those gloves with their wide open. There's a picture of that. Go check it out.
You have a point, but in the Crawford fight, you did notice that.
Yeah, and they let it continue. Exactly, Pete.
It's ridiculous.
That's the commission's fault. Like, they should have, right? They should have said, I don't know if he was being intimidated or whatever, but he should have said, yeah, because everybody has to bring 2 pairs of gloves. Tyson used to bring 3 because he was known to blow them apart. 3 pairs. But if you don't have one, they'll find the shit out of you. They won't even let the fight start. They check the mouthpiece. They go over and they check your corner to make sure you have certain things, including fucking an extra pair of gloves. Because that's how many times gloves have blown apart over the years. My point being, I think you got a shitty run of gloves.
Well,
it's just one of those fucking things.
There was another fighter that had the same gloves, but they were a different, what do you call that? A different color scheme.
Yeah, but the point is, look. I agree that those gloves, Butcher just put the picture up a couple of seconds ago. Those gloves I've never seen a pair of gloves in a professional bout look that disheveled. That being said, there's no evidence. I can't just take that fight and say, that because that's what people do with Margarito. He had some specks of water in his wraps, therefore he was using water on his wraps in every other fight. I mean, you have to actually show evidence that he did it in other fights. And with the Crawford fight, some LDBC people try to do it. They try to show the MX gloves. Oh, look, they're wrinkled.
Yeah, fucking they did that shit.
Yeah, but there was another fighter that had the same batch of gloves, but it had a different color scheme. I can't remember the name of the fighter that night, but his gloves didn't burst open like that.
The gloves. You saw Derek James feel the gloves right after the fight. Crawford came to the corner and congratulated Spence. And what did Derek James do? First thing he did was grab the gloves with 2 hands and feel them, and he didn't think anything of it.
I'll just say this. If you take any professional pair of gloves, lace up, whatever, right, and you weigh them, they're almost never exactly what they purport to be. So I would just say that, like, a one-off equipment failure is really not that, like, insane. You know? I would say it's a likely outcome.
I mean,
they're literally hand-sewn, handmade. The pad is put in. They don't do them by machine, so that's it. True, they're never always really the same.
Some slave in Vietnam or some shit, right?
No, I think the MX are made in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. But they could be different threads. Maybe the threads they were using, because it has to be different color gloves, they're going to use different thread. And again, I'm just offering things what might have happened, and that thread might have been dry. Might have been old sitting in the factory, and it might have blown apart on the gloves. My point being,
it could be a batch that had the last second thing.
It would have been something Crawford would have never been able to get his hands on. So if it was a conspiracy, say Crawford did do it, then we have to move it to the next. Then that means the commission's in on it. So the commission, that guy who's risking, those guys who have to sit in a corner and get to watch fights, the best fights in the world.
Yeah, but the commission, they say
probably
lost,
get $20,000 a year to get paid to have that cushiony, awesome job, right? Why would they want to even risk it? Just like somebody came to him, just being honest, being pragmatic. You got that gig. Some fighter just comes to you and says, "Hey, listen, fucking, I want to take the stitching out of the gloves." You're like, "What?"
Yeah, but you're talking about a commission that's not really experienced when it comes to boxing events. They look like a deer in the headlights with the eyes wide open, looking at the glove. Like, what the fuck is going on? They thought it was a UFO. And for all I know, they thought it was a UFO. That's all wide eyes were open.
That's an excellent point. I think they were overwhelmed. I think he was like over his head. It's Crawford. It's a fucking, you know what I mean? And I think he was intimidated. I think his corner probably said, "Nah, it's fucking, come on, guy. It's fine. It's not affecting the fight." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, forget it. No, that's good. Go." I swear to God, I bet you that's what ended up happening. But if that was in Vegas, they would have said, "Take the fucking glove off immediately."
I'll say one thing. I can't see that picture, but if I remember, it was the back of the glove that burst open, not the thumb, not where the tip of the thumb connects to the glove, right? It wasn't that part. It was like
it was the back of the hand, right? Yeah, well, by the pinky down, right? Wasn't it by the back? You know where your pinky is to the your wrist, that part. On the edge of your hand.
The picture, check it out. But I thought I was right on. Yeah, like I think to me, because Crawford never took his hand wraps off after that fight.
I know that's weird too, right?
But again,
yeah, that was weird too, man. But
if his reps were messed with, that means again the commission. Not only the commission, that means the guy he fought trainer would have to be in on it because he watched him get a
You're
rep.
talking about any incompetent commission. Let's be real here.
I mean,
But
geez,
also, that means the other trainer. That means the guy, you're selling your own guy out because you're sitting right there, fucking like, what's his name? Richards used to make guys, he'd sit and watch him do it, and then he'd complain at the end and make them redo it just to get in their heads. But you're sitting right there. So that means you're the representative of your team allowed somebody to do something illegal with their fucking reps. And then you also have the commission involved in on it. I mean, that's just a lot of fucking people, dude. I think it's easy just to blame. I think it was just a bad fucking batch, dry threads or something, because it didn't rip in a place, to Pete's point, that it actually helped Crawford. You know what I mean? And again, personally, I knew Crawford was the best welterweight, so this kid was too talented to have to even, can go to that type of shit. The kid hits fucking hard. You don't see him coming. He's fucking, he likes to fight. He's not the type.
My only insinuation was that he wrapped his hands, and then when he gloved up, if you notice, some guys hang on the gloves and then let you smash your hands into them. It just looks like they were skinned back too tight and they burst those stitches right there on both gloves, though. Yeah. The suspect, and it was his first knockout. It was his first icing. Like, I don't care if the guy was. What was the guy's name again?
David Evanesian.
Yeah, he's fought plenty of subpar opponent before Evanesian. You know what I'm trying to say? He never really one-timed anybody like that.
But that's one time. Remember going into that, he had this when he talked on. I think it was the Boxing Boys. He even said they were changing this because they were talking about how his knockout ratio at the welterweight. He literally has knocked out every opponent since he's been in welterweight.
The way
he's been changing to become more of a flat. He's been training to punch more flat.
All of you guys are making salient points, but I think you're missing the bigger picture here. And I think that if Mayweather owned Everlast, we wouldn't be having this type of problem. So I think that's something that we
he's gonna buy Reyes.
Oh shit!
That was beautiful. I think I might buy this company.
I'll write you a check. I'll write you a check for it and take a picture of it and send it to you. Now, the thing is,
somebody should tell me it's much different to own a strip club and then owning an actual fucking company, man. It's a night and day.
Own a strip.
What do you guys think about Spence, man? Like. Okay, listen, the best thing you should have done personally is retire because you duck in that. Yeah, dude, exactly. You duck in that Crawford rematch, right? Like you saying, I'm just going to retire. I took a good beating. I had a good career. I made my money. You walk away. But to come back and show up in the ring that night looking to fight the fucking winner with a big smile on your fucking face, dude.
He looked high. He looked high.
Yeah, well, that's exactly been his problem in his own admission.
He looked like a deer in the headlights.
So it makes him look like, wow, so you're not even willing to fight him again at 154 because that's what you're going to be fighting at. So it's like you're just straight out saying, yeah, no, I don't want that rematch because you beat the absolute bag out of me.
I don't think they could afford that rematch to pay either guy. I don't know. The thing about it is, though, my only thing about Spence jumping in the ring after the Tszyu-Fundora fight was like, okay, so Crawford beat him handily, like at 147, no doubt about that, right? But like, what does that mean? That for the rest of his career now he can just trump Spence and just fucking step in front of him wherever he wants to go? Like, no, that's my fight now. I'm first. Like just because he beat Spence, like fuck off.
Clearly Spence thinks so.
No. I say Crawford thinks that because he won. I guess, and a lot of I hear from the public is like, no, fuck that. Crawford should have that winner of that fight. He beat Spence. I'm like, okay, so he beat Spence, fine. But what does that mean for the rest of time? Now he has the right to just like Crawford can just jump in front of Spence whenever he wants, like break fights up.
You don't get a title shot at division up off a knockout loss, right?
I guess, but I mean, do you get a title shot at division up off a knockout win?
Yes, I think one of the belts allows you.
Yes, if you're the champion and you go up in division, they automatically show you the courtesy of the number one ranking.
That's like so that's why. Yeah.
What are you talking about, Peter? You know this shit.
You're right. I should know that.
No, you do know that, Peter. Actually, because I've heard you tell somebody before.
Rule, but no, I know the WBO rule, but I don't. These sanctioning bodies, to me, man, I can't, in good faith, cite these fucking rules because if you've ever seen that WBC convention that they live streamed, it was such a circus fest, jerk off fest that you can't. I don't know if he could ever take any of these sanctioning bodies seriously from there on out.
Dude, his personal worth is $40 million. Wrap your head around that. Suleiman.
Good.
Personal worth $40 million. And it's supposed to be a non-profit.
Oh shit! Take some of that money and hire somebody to run that company.
I mean, how is he worth $40 million? God damn!
Right, he inherited his father, who started WBC. Because listen, dude, it's no joke. You want a petition to, I want a petition to be his mandatory. You got to pay a fee. You got to pay. And when you say if you want to fight on the WBC, belt, even if you're this 30th ranked guy, but you inform the WBC, hey, listen, I want to be in your ranking systems. Okay, no problem. Just send a check. Literally, that's how it goes, dude. You pay for everything. A percentage of your purse. It's ridiculous.
This is why the game is rigged. It's a rigged system.
And again, that's why guys like Canelo is the A side, because think about it, they get a percentage. So when you got one guy making $5 million, the other guy making $35 million, and you're getting what? What's the WBC get? 10% or something?
Oh my God!
Crazy amount.
Do the math. 10% of 35 million is 3.5.
Bing boom, right in his pocket with a big smile. Hey. In some cases, it's 15%. I think. Dude, it's a scam. It's a racket.
Oh, someone's playing some small hat tribe music.
Hey, you know what, Jimmy? You know what? Also,
Yes,
when you're in a sanctioned title fight, even if you don't got the belt, they're taking a percentage off your purse as well. If you're contending for the belt,
that's right.
Even the opponent. Yep.
It's rigged. This is why people like BDA, don't care about this unified belts, and I don't care either. To be honest with you, all this we gotta go for undisputed. What does that mean, bro? When you gotta pay a system, okay, and then if you don't pay, doesn't matter if you're the top guy, right? You're the best guy. You can get knocked off that because you're not willing to pay into this fucking corrupt system.
Hey guys, did you hear what Eddie Hearn said in an interview in the last boxing event that they had at the Zone, whatever? I don't remember what it was. Anyways, Eddie Hearn said that Anthony Joshua's next fight will be for a title. It doesn't matter if it's against the winner of Usyk and Fury. He will get a title. So he's saying that they're gonna strip a belt from there. So we're getting into I remember the early 2000s when Lennox Lewis had all the belts, and they took away the WBA and gave it to John Ruiz or Holyfield, whatever. So, yeah, this is.
I mean, it makes sense, Mucho, because once Usyk and Fury unify, what's the point of continuing to defend and pay all the sanctioning fees? I'm sure they don't want to do, even though they're millionaires, they're not going to want to pay a combined percent of 12%, 3 for the 4 belts. So might as well split them up and do business elsewhere. With more people, with more fighters, it's just it's kind of good.
I know that Tyson Fury.
Yo, Gonzalo,
mandatory clause.
Yo, Gonzalo, you sound like, where are you, man?
Are you ready to go? He's calling from Chernobyl.
No, he's calling from the space station. He's calling from the space station.
Okay. I'm all right, guys. I'm all right.
It's just a buzz. It's just a buzz.
Yeah.
But you ain't all right.
I'm all right.
No, you're not all right. I am all right. You're not all right.
People are saying that he's inside a microwave.
No, he's coming from the space station. He's in the space shuttle right now.
Yeah, man.
But I know that there's a mandatory. Excuse me. I keep saying fucking mandatory. There's a rematch if Tyson Fury loses, right? So
yes,
they'll have a rematch clause. So if let's say if Usyk pulls off the victory and wins, then they'll be fighting for one of those belts will be stripped. I'm going to say belts are going to be stripped. You'll see too.
No, but that's what Eddie Hearn said because Eddie Hearn said because they have to fight the mandatory, and if they fight again, they won't be able to fight the mandatory. I don't know who I guess AJ is the mandatory or something. So he's like, so no matter what happens, we're gonna fight for a belt. But what's the point? Like, AJ, he's not the champion. Even if he wins a fucking belt, he's a paper champ.
But you know what, Bucho? I feel that AJ got some of his mojo back. Even though he's lost 2 times to Usyk, he bounced back, and he used to be the face of boxing, kind of like Canelo. He's still a name brand. Anthony Joshua is still a name brand. So they're gonna do what they do. If they did it for Rolly Romero, bring it back to Anthony Joshua. He's a damn better fighter than Rolly Romero. Give him a belt.
And Gonzalo, I hate to say it, man, but that kid Ben, fucking the motivational speaker trainer, he's actually done a real good job with him. I gotta say, I mean, you can't deny it. He's got him fighting. He's got him fighting, going forward, mean, trying to knock people out. I mean, that's the way he needs to fight.
That guy Ben, what is his name? Ben, he's got a personality.
Ben Davis.
That guy is Ben Davis. He's a personable guy. I'm sure when you're around him, he injects you with that energy. Like, yeah, he gets you going.
Yeah, he's infectious. He just gets all pumped up. I mean, when he first came around, he lacked a little. It was knowledge of the game. He kind of, but he's picking it up. Obviously, he's being around it enough. He's been. But listen, what do you guys think? I'm telling you right now, I'm starting to fucking get a serious fucking Usyk stoppage 6 kind of a vibe.
Jimmy, I was thinking about that, man.
I've always had that vibe.
I think I was gonna say my prediction is Usyk wins or draws, and they're fighting a rematch. The rematch is happening.
He's gonna beat the shit out of Fury.
This is my thing, man. Like, they say how the heavyweights, like, they're big guys nowadays, and the big guys dominate. If there was ever to be a guy that beats a big guy, it's gonna be a smaller guy. When the smaller guy can get in between your long levers, think Ray Mercer, David Tua, Mike Tyson. He's even had trouble with Steve Cunningham. Deontay Wilder's a big guy, but he's skinny, dude.
Good point.
It's not a best comparison, but I'm just saying, if there was ever to be a guy that's going to beat a big guy, it's going to be a smaller guy, a smaller heavyweight.
You lose accuracy and punching power punching down because you're not driving your foot. You're not using your bottom legs pushing up your punch. That's why you're punching up at a slight angle gives you the best power. Same thing when you swing a bat, it goes up at an angle.
Yeah, but AJ's a big guy, and I think AJ will beat Fury's ass too.
I don't know about you guys, but I really want to see what the odds are going to be come like that fight week for the fight. I'm really curious to see what those odds are going to look like
for Usyk Fury.
Usyk Fury, yep.
I wonder what they are right now. Anybody know? Check it out.
They've allowed Usyk. See, Fury's fucked around. He's allowed Usyk too much time to get acclimated at heavyweight. He looks real natural now at it. You see him in the latest workout on Instagram? Yeah, dude, he looks sharp.
The odds are basically a pick.
You know what, Timmy, but I always got the feeling, guys, that Tyson Fury was procrastinating. He didn't want the fucking fight. I don't know. Did he get injured? It got postponed. He put it off for years. Maybe to throw Usyk off his game plan, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's ever wanted to fucking face him. But with push comes to shove, you're not getting any younger. Even for a heavyweight, and the people have been wanting this fight, so now you got nowhere to go. You're taking the fight, but do you actually believe that you can win? I'm not sure. That I get those Tyson Fury vibes.
Dude, he went fucking life and death with a complete novice. No, not a complete novice. I can't say that, but a guy's never had a professional boxing match before. And then you saw what Joshua did to him. That's so like Fury's. Listen, you can't make your bones off of Deontay Wilder. I mean, Deontay Wilder literally is the worst technical fucking hype job heavyweight champion I'm in my lifetime, without a doubt. He's got the worst resume. That's the worst in WBC sanctioned body history. 3 or more title defenses. His first 7 opponents in his title defenses, none of them were in the top 10. I mean, he was fucking crazy.
Jimmy, but let me interrupt. Sorry. But there's this caveat, and I don't know what you guys think. There's always been the idea that Tyson Fury can rise to the occasion. when he's facing a B or C, but when he faces the cream of the crop, he's gonna do the damn thing. He's gonna take care of business. I don't know. I still kind of do believe that he will rise to the occasion. But I'm not totally sure. That's why this fight is so fucking 50-50 to me. But I favor this is a 60-40 for Usyk in my opinion. But I'm not counting Tyson Fury out. Because look, even if he misses with that uppercut, he's not gonna fucking go for the Usyk feints. He feints from the outside, but he's got the shorter limbs. So Tyson Fury is not gonna bite on them fucking feints. And when Usyk steps in, probably Tyson Fury is gonna throw that uppercut because he's tall. It's gonna catch up to his shoulders. He's gonna punch through the target. But even if he misses, he's gonna lean on fucking Usyk. He's gonna wrap him up WWE style on the inside. He's not gonna let him work. That's why I'm still thinking Tyson Fury's got a chance. He's not going to be able to feed from the outside Usyk because Tyson Fury is a good boxer. He's a good boxer, but guess what? Usyk's a better boxer. If Tyson Fury is nimble, yes, he's nimble for a big guy, but guess what? Usyk's nimble for a smaller guy, so he's quicker than Tyson Fury. But that doesn't mean he's got the advantage of fighting from the outside because Tyson Fury got the longer limbs, so he's not going to bite for them feints. And when he does, it's just... Go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was going to say, when he ties up, though, he's going to find out about Usyk's strength. You see Usyk pick him up at the airport or out in front of that casino, just grab him, lift him up like he's not. Listen, Usyk's a powerful dude. Them shorter, more powerful limbs. And Fury's kind of got that gangly body build. That style, how many guys you know, big dudes.
Low center of gravity. Low center of gravity.
In that build, right? Listen, Pete, you played fucking football. Big guys with that type of build usually aren't powerful, and they don't stay in good. Like it's hard for them to be athletic later in life. How many times you've ever seen it? It just very seldom happens. And he balloons a lot in weight. I'm telling you, it's gonna have an effect on him.
It's hard for those guys to be athletic anytime in life. They're sloppy. Like his knees come. Like his knees.
Actually,
hold on, Gonzalo. Hold on 1 second, man. Just real quick.
Sorry, brother.
My thing is about Fury is that it's always kind of been smoke and mirrors with him. You know, I mean, like he's awkward, but he ain't gonna lean on Usyk. He's not gonna be able to find Usyk. Usyk's gonna wash him. And I don't know why it took. I'm not sure why it took for this Ngannou thing to happen before people realized that, or before people started saying that. But like, I think Usyk and AJ are the best two heavyweights on the planet. You just saw him fight twice, and Usyk won twice. But people write off AJ. AJ will beat Fury's ass too.
Well, there's something you guys are missing too, and it's the corruption in the sport. If Fury wins 4 or 5 rounds, you know Usyk's going to get robbed, and they're going to allow Fury to blatantly foul and cheat. So we can break down their styles and do all that shit. But if Usyk gets even remotely old overnight and makes the fight even somewhat competitive, even if he wins decisively, he's not going to get the decision. You guys do know that, right? It will. They're going to set up Fury, AJ.
No,
I don't know.
I was going to say
the reason why. It's because what's happening in the world today. Usyk being from like the Ukraine and the like the foreign politics that are going on with that. I'm not too sure if I get what you're saying, right? Like the fact that they want Fury, AJ, and because obviously nobody wants to see Usyk AJ again. I mean, it could happen, but like Usyk is 2-0 against them. So like, what's the fucking clamor for that one? You know what I'm saying?
So my question is this: where's the fight taking place?
Saudi.
Yeah, I don't think that politics is going to play the same in Saudi as it would anywhere else. See, if that fight's in England, I think Dora has a point. If that fight's in America, I think Dora's got a point. In Saudi Arabia, I don't think it's going to matter.
We'll see, man.
I was going to throw historically. I wanted to throw a dumb fact in because when I was cut Peter off, Giants don't live that long, dude. Giants, they die early in life. He lives 60 years because he's got to pump so much blood for that big ass frame. One thing about basketball players, the tall guys are always fucking up their knees. You know what I mean? Fucking, I don't know. There's like, can you expect a guy like that to continue chucking and jiving like he's like a Muhammad Ali? When push comes to shove, man, that dude, he's got to pump a lot of blood to that fucking heart of his. He's a giant man.
Yep. Now he's now Fury's weighing in like at 270, over 270 pounds. Like that's a lot of weight putting on
Is he still that weight right now, Bucho?
Probably,
is that what he's
man.
coming in at?
No, well, apparently he's.
Wow.
I've seen some pictures, but I don't know.
That's the married life. That's the married life.
Yeah, if he
I don't know
thinks
why
he's
when
gonna
you
be
get
able to.
married and you have a whole bunch of kids, that happens to you. You just become like a.
Yeah, but against that MMA guy, how much did he come in at?
Oh, he was big. He was heavy, wasn't he?
But he also wasn't in shape either. So we don't know what weight he's going to come in at. But here's the thing: weighing in at 270 in two of his last 3 or 4 fights, because I don't know how much he weighed for Dillian White either or Chisora, but he's coming in over 250. And every boxer trains down. So what is he entering training camp? How much weight is he putting on in between?
Well, with Dillian White, he got the knockout with that uppercut. So I mean, it didn't go the distance. So we couldn't see his true limitations when it comes to going rounds. Did he win the last 2 rounds?
But I was asking about what his weight was.
Well, 270. But you got to think about what is the freaking Chinese guy? He only gave us good 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Those guys are too big, man. Remember Butterbean? Butterbean, like say what you will, he had power. He was probably a good boxer, but he can only go 3 or 4 fucking rounds.
Hey, he was called the king of the 4 rounds, man. The king of the 4 rounds.
The king of the 4 rounds. Same like fucking the Chinese guy. He should have won that fight against Joshua. He just fucking threw it away. It's what is it called? Parker. Sorry.
What's that guy's name again? Zhilei Zhang. Yeah, you're right.
He should
have won that fight. He should have won that fight. He got tired, man. And then he didn't really want to throw any punches. I think he was just conserving his energy, his stamina. But yeah, you're right, man. And Fury, how old is he now?
Yeah.
He's
Isn't he like 40 years old though?
Yeah, he's
talking about the Chinese guy.
Right. He's 40.
He's gonna fight Wilder.
Dude, Usyk was older than Fury, by the way, but
yeah,
he's like 36.
Right.
Fury's 36.
But to Bucho's point, he's just 270. He's too big. Imagine looking around 270 pounds. There's a threshold for a heavyweight. Even you can be a big guy, Chief. And I wanted to say this to you, like, if there was ever to be a heavyweight that beats a bigger guy, it's going to be a smaller heavyweight. Yes, the big guys, supposedly they're dominating because they're beating other lumbering motherfuckers. They're beating other guys.
Well, I mean, it's not supposed. It's not supposed. Ever since Evander Holyfield, everyone's been 6'5" or higher and 240 or above. Usyk's the exception to the rule.
But then you got a big guy losing to another big guy. But every now and then there's gonna be a smaller. That's the guy that's gonna beat the bigger guy. That's why I'm not necessarily saying that the big guys they're dominating. No, they're just pushing big guys nowadays because they think, oh, big guy versus big guy is fucking. They gotta finish it like okay, well they're like size queens. But every now and then, you'll be surprised. There's gonna be a compact, smaller heavyweight that's gonna come around. And actually, he's the one that's got the 3 belts. That's Alexander Usyk. The big guys are not dominating. Alexander Usyk's the fucking three belt champion.
Usyk's not that small
right.
guy,
He's
dude.
the exception to the rule. What I'm saying is,
you're right.
Since the late '90s, the heavyweights have been. You can say
there was only one guy. There was only one guy, Chief, and that was Vladimir Klitschko.
Who? And Lennox Lewis, and then Vitaly Klitschko,
okay.
And then Tyson Fury, and then Deontay Wilder, and then Anthony Joshua.
Wait, hold on, Chief. What about Chief? What about Chris Bird?
Didn't get beat up by a super middleweight? He didn't get beat up by a super middleweight. What's that guy that we had on the show? The black guy.
Tony?
No,
super middleweight.
Chris Bird.
Chris Bird, yeah, that's what I was saying.
What about?
I was fucking saying Chris Bird the whole time. Chris Bird, yeah, but he did beat Klitschko, right? But that was
he beat Vitaly, but that's before Vitaly actually won the WBC title too. Once they took over the division, and even then Lennox Lewis was the champion, the main champion at that time, and he's 6'5" and 240. And after he translated out and came to Klitschko's. After the Klitschko's, Tyson Fury. After Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder and AJ. Usyk's the exception to the rule. We're going all the way back 30 years now.
But Fury's also Fury's the only one who has a build like that. All the other guys were still very muscular, athletic builds, mesomorph body types, round muscle bellies. Fury's the fucking gangly, fat in the midsection.
He's just
long
tall.
fucking limbs. He's actually even dink-toed. His knees can't get in the center.
That's right. That's
like,
right.
if you ever try to see that motherfucker run a 440, dude, he would.
No.
He would you know what I mean?
You, man. That's
he's not very athletically built at all.
He's just simply tall. But he's like not neat. You know, he's got his knees are all kicked in, and guys like that don't.
You know what I gotta say? You know what I gotta say about Alexander Usyk? Nothing. That guy's a respectful man. I have nothing to say bad about that guy. I don't know what to say.
His legs are like fucking. He's got oak legs. He's got fucking thick ass legs. He squats heavy, deep sets. That's a strong motherfucker. I'll tell you right now. Yeah. He lifts heavier weights than Fury, guaranteed. And if they got into a cage and did a fucking, and and anything goes, and they could put their hands on each other and wrestle, fucking Usyk would power slam that doughy bastard into the fucking canvas, big time.
You guys remember when he weighed in for that first fight with Joshua? How, if you look at him, what was this fight before Anthony Joshua? Who was that guy he fought?
Chisora.
Who was it?
I think so. No,
Chisora.
Yeah,
the Marshmallow Man, Chisora.
Yeah, Chisora. That's right, Chisora. Yeah. If you look at his build, he must have put on 15, 20 fucking pounds from that Chisora fight to the first AJ fight. I mean, this guy is like he's legit heavyweight. He might stop Fury's ass.
6'3" though.
You know what?
What's the small heavyweight now? Like, because 6'3". I mean,
Usyk pretty big, man. Usyk's not
big boy.
Yeah, Usyk big.
No, he gotta eat a lot.
You think so?
Maybe more than 3 times a day. Yeah, he's not big.
I don't know,
he's
man.
just fucking strong. He's just strong. There comes a point when a man is like over 200 pounds. He can just fucking get you. He's not really necessarily a power puncher either. But I'm just gonna say he got a chin. The work, they fucking work real hard, man. Papachenko, Lomachenko, all them motherfuckers, they work really, really, really hard. I don't know what it is about those guys.
Are so different. It's funny the dimensions. He's built the same height and wingspan as Muhammad Ali, but he's not built anywhere near the same. They even weigh.
They don't look the same. They don't look the same.
No,
they don't look the same.
They don't at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, what's the difference? Like the shoulders, or what is it? There's something.
No, Muhammad Ali got the ballerina legs. Muhammad Ali got the ballerina legs, the long legs.
Exactly.
He got the long legs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Muhammad Ali's built different. Usyk is like whatchamacallit? What's the build? He's a strong boy, man.
White shoulders.
Usyk and Muhammad Ali are born on the same date.
I'm not really necessarily into checking out guys. I'm not. I'm just saying, he's just built. They're not built the same.
Homo.
Who's born on the same day? Recognize who?
Usyk and Muhammad Ali are born on the same.
That's crazy, man.
Crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
And yeah, but Gonzalo, no, I hear that is funny saying that about, but yeah, different body types. There's scientifically different body types. It's not even has to do with the actual skeleton shell, and you know what I mean. And that's like Usyk's more of an endomorph. He's more between endomorph, which is the linebacker, fucking guy with the fucking thick joints, round muscle bellies, but he can put on weight. And then there's the mesomorph, which is more like Ali was. Longer fucking muscle bellies, more athletic. Like he could probably jump higher. He's got thinner calves, but that type of style. But and that's all. So he's more of a power builder. Like if Usyk wanted to powerlifting, he has a build that would work well in that, where like somebody like Ali wouldn't.
This is what I got to say about Muhammad Ali, because like I used to go when I was a teenager. I went into the library and I used to watch the VHS tapes, the beta tapes. Like I read all the books. I know everything about Muhammad Ali. I really do. I just don't talk about it. I just forgot a lot of the things. But I know Muhammad Ali's life story. I bought the CDs for like the ones that came out later. Everything about Muhammad Ali, I know. I'm just gonna tell you this much. The guy had some fucking foot. He had the best leg work, like dexterically, he can move, man.
Right.
He had the best legs in the game, dude.
That's true. He still got caught by Joe Fraser, so.
And he didn't have to be standing still to stick you with a good jab. He could be in the middle of turning when he lets his stick go, and he'll hurt you with it. He'll snap your head back. Very few guys can do that. and he did it with such grace. That's why they say float like a butterfly.
He got the pull counter. He can pull back and fucking catch you. He's a dude that would fucking make Ryan Martin look like fucking garbage. 1 round.
Well, he's one of the guys who he looked at shit more scientifically right from the beginning. He realized he didn't have to put everything behind a shot. It just had to be accurate. It had to get there quicker. Like he took more of a scientific, like the way Sugar Ray Leonard, Robinson looked at it. You don't have to line up, man. Just 6-inch punch right on the button. You'll fucking rock somebody's world. Yeah.
The fucking anchor punch. The anchor punch is real, man. That shit is fucking real. It's kind of like Terrence Crawford. He pulled back, boom, snap your head back. Snap you when he catching you on the edge of his wheelhouse as you're coming in. Trust.
Yep. Spencer's best punch of the night was counted, put him right on his ass. Remember, he landed the best punch of the fight up to that point. He got to celebrate that for about 1.8 seconds, and then he got fucking put on his ass by a check hook.
A check. That's a check hook. That's a check hook. That's what you call a check hook.
Yep. But yeah, no, Muhammad Ali was special. He historically unbelievable chin. Could take a beat and he had the will. He just would, to stand there, like people don't understand, like George Foreman in the 1970s was historically, like he was known, anybody who spot him, and he was an angry kid, so he always tried to hurt everybody, but he was easily the biggest punching heavyweight up until that point. No doubt about it. For him to stand there and rope-a-dope, take that chance, let him beat on his body. And like Foreman said, I punched myself out. I was hitting his body as hard as I've ever punched anything. And how that man stood up, it's just incredible.
Jimmy, and that's just terminology. Check hook really means you can check a dude with a straight right. Check. That's a check punch. Boom. Even a straight fucking punch. Check hook, it almost sounds like it because Muhammad Ali wasn't really hooking, but I know what you mean. That's a fucking check hook. That's a counter punch.
He would snap it right over the top of yours. Mm-hmm. He was real good at that. He'd make you miss the jab, and he would snap his right over the top and touch you.
Yeah, but he would also clinch too.
Oh yeah. That was pretty much clinching like that type of shit.
Sometimes he'll throw an elbow every now and then.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely.
Come on
Muhammad Ali could be dirty.
I'm just calling it how it is, man. I don't worship these other men, dude, because they're.
Check it out, Emma. You know how they say don't open your gloves because the padding you're gonna strain. A lot of times when you open your hands, like Muhammad Ali, it could cut the air through the fucking surface. Then you close it at the very end. Boom! People do. They say a lot of things nowadays are you shouldn't do that. I would do that myself, because when you open your hand, guess what? When you're opening your hand, you're cutting the air quicker for a counter punch, but also you have a bigger surface to parry a punch. You can parry a shot.
Gonzalo, didn't De La Hoya
Oscar De La Hoya said the same thing. Oscar De La Hoya said the same thing, Bucho.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. De La Hoya used to throw that.
You read my mind, Pedro. You read my mind.
What the fuck?
You read
I was
my
about
mind.
to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mark, like, listen, I just want to say too, because listen, I understand that some people will hero worship Muhammad Ali. My thing is this: I worship the sport of boxing. He's one of the best to ever done it. So I'm very impressed with what he did.
I disagree. I think he's a Walmart version of a Muay Thai fighter. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, what?
A Walmart version of a Muay Thai fighter, dude.
You have to realize that you're amongst them. You're amongst a very short list of people who think that way.
But I'm realistic. That, right? I'm realistic, though. You know what I mean? I'm just transparent, and I'm just not gonna. I'm just not gonna feed into the mystical gibberish. No offense, but
In the chat we have somebody 8 count says Ali was losing to Leon Spinks, a bum that just turned 36. Well, Leon
how many
Spinks,
wars he was through by then?
Yeah, Leon Spinks is an all-time great light heavyweight. He's one of the best ever.
Yeah, but at that point Ali wasn't even all there, man.
My thing is, man, but I take a little bit of offense to that, Mark, because you're saying like you're honest and transparent, and people who say he's great, like 97% of everybody who's ever had anything to do with the industry says. I don't know. That's a little narcissistic, I would say, bro.
I'm not just calling
wait, so how am I being narcissistic?
You're just calling Muhammad Ali.
Because you're saying you're the only one who's honest. I mean, unless I'm understanding what you're saying.
I'm being intellectually honest. What was the lie that being said?
Comparing him to a Walmart. I mean, I forget what you said.
Am I wrong?
No, Muhammad Ali's one of the.
Am I wrong?
Muhammad Ali's one of the
Am
greatest.
I wrong? Yes or no? That's all I want to hear.
Yes, absolutely. Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest fighters in the history of fucking boxing.
He didn't clinch.
He did clinch.
Okay,
but he was one of the biggest heavyweights.
So how am I lying? How am I lying? Where was the lie?
Whoever graced the face of this earth, man, Muhammad Ali.
Okay, well, I don't know, man. Was he the best ever?
One of the best, absolutely. I'm not saying he was the greatest heavyweight.
Jimmy, the best. Like that's what they say about Ali. He was the best of all time.
And I'm also one of the first. I'll fucking, the whole he didn't go to Vietnam, and a lot of people put him on a shelf for that. Listen, let's cut through the bullshit on that. Let me tell you right now, he wouldn't have went to Vietnam. He was a fucking celebrity, or like Elvis Presley and every other celebrity. You know where he would have went? To Germany, to some cushiony post where he did a bunch of photo ops, banged fucking German chicks by the fucking gazoo, right? And then fucking still would have been able to train. He wouldn't have been treated like regular military.
Like Joe Louis when he went to World War II. He wanted to go out or something like that, and he was stayed on a boat. Cutting potatoes.
Exactly, dude. Listen, he was told to do that by the Nation of Islam to make a point, right? And here's the thing. That was when this country was much more conservative, and most people were sending their kids over there like, wait, am I kicking over there and fucking fight? And even the black community turned their back on him on that because there was a lot of blacks over in Vietnam too. Like, wait a minute, dude, you ain't. But and that was the worst because the guys who actually went knew. You would have been in Germany, dude. What are you talking about? No, Vietnam ever called me. The closest you're going to come to a Vietnam is the fucking plate of noodles you eat. Fuck out of here, dude. That was show. So I don't credit him any great thing. I think he was sucked in by the fucking Nation of Islam, and they told him to do that because of the stance they were taking, and it fucked up his own career. So I know today it's good to look at that as like some social justice thing he did. It was bullshit. Just wanted to put that out there. So I don't worship a lot of the shit he did and said outside the ring. I'm just saying when he was at his physical prime, it was fucking grace to watch. He did shit was just unbelievable, ahead of his time.
Yeah, but this is coming from the guy who said, I don't have any white friends. They're associates.
Oh, so that's your problem. We're talking about the boxing problem. Like,
no. That's your problem, Dirk. Just foremost.
That's the whole issue here. It got nothing to do with
There's a list. There's a giant list that you just made.
See, no, I'll be honest. I didn't hear that one. I'm not saying it wasn't said. The only thing I ever heard, and I found it refreshing because he was honest. He said, I want my grandchildren to look like me. And I would think something's wrong with you as a white man if you didn't want your grandchildren to look like you. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like in the country, a lot of people get angry with him. Howie Cosell was, how can you say that? This, racial marriages would just started happening. He was like, he was unapologetic about it.
So we're going to shit on Tito Fimo for saying some shit like that, being honest and truthful, but like we're gonna praise Ali? Yeah, no.
Why don't you just say that from the beginning instead of saying he was like a bum fighter or he was trash?
What do you mean? I made some valid points. You have any counter arguments? Do you have any counter arguments, or are you just gonna spread out?
No, obviously you just care about
yes or no?
Your issue with him is his politics.
I'm criticizing the fighter for what he is.
I don't hear any counter arguments.
No, you're criticizing for his politics. That's your real issue.
Are you done with an ad hominem, or are you gonna get to the point?
All right, there you go. So look, you can't argue the point.
You don't have a point, dude. That's my point.
No, you first jumped to he said this about white people.
He said a lot of shit. Yes.
Yeah, but when you talking about his skills, you said he's a trash fighter.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Like
both. It can't be both.
What's going on, man?
Come on.
Well, no, but this is the thing. Revisionist history. If you put Muhammad Ali versus Alexander Usyk today, well, maybe Usyk beats him. I don't think necessarily that will happen. But I'm just saying, like when you have an iPhone, the version, the one that came before that, you are picking up what the other dude dropped down. In life, we're always fucking progressing. And I wouldn't expect but what he did in his day, you make a Muhammad Ali on the day to the strengths to the people are doing now. Give him a strength conditioning coach. Have him fighting in a bridger weight. Now let him fight heavyweights. Fuck it, like Alexander Usyk. He can do that. You know why? In my opinion, because he got the chin, because he got the legs. But you give them. This is one thing that is overlooked a lot of times in the sport. Hearts. You have to have a fucking heart.
Exactly.
Can you name a heavyweight with a better?
His jaw was
name a
shattered.
heavyweight with a better resume? You can't.
And to be honest,
give me a fucking heart. Give me a heart.
Lennox Lewis?
1968.
I was about to say the same thing. Never Sobers.
Lennox Lewis. Okay, Lennox Lewis. Okay, cool.
1960.
Yeah, he didn't.
I was gonna say
No, he can be
1968.
touched. Lennox Lewis can be touched. He can be touched. Oliver McCall, fucking, he can be touched, dude. Fucking,
No, but better,
he can be touched.
Yeah, better resume.
No,
better
listen.
resume.
It's kind of the thing is this. Everything's with an asterisk, especially when you start getting up in the 2000s, because it's a numbers thing. If you have 10 million people doing a sport, the cream of the crop is going to be so much denser and so much better. Like the fighters, even the 10th ranked fighters then are going to be better than a lot of your 2 and 1st ranked fighters today, because like in some cases there's only like 700 professional heavyweights in the world. Back then there was literally thousands and thousands of them. So to get all the way to the top then is something to be said. And I'm just saying 1968, when his hand speed was at its best and his accuracy and his legs, Usyk wouldn't beat him. He's too slow. He's too squared up.
Well,
he wouldn't have the speed.
To be fair, the sport was evolving at the.
Yeah, I would bet my life that he would beat
the
Usyk.
sport was also evolving though.
Ali would.
When you
conditioning stuff kind of evolving, but the sport itself.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of it was evolving.
When I do the comparison, what I try to do is, okay, you know how, like you said, the sport evolves. The fighters are technically better because they have like all these, access to video and strength and conditioning coach and all that. So you got to say, okay, if you put Ali with his same skill set, and you say let's give him a strength and conditioning coach and video, then you got to say he'll be better than what he was in the in the 60s and the 70s. And Ali that's better than that, and Ali that's better than that is like unbeatable, pretty much.
Recognize. Let me bridge the gap, dog. Muhammad Ali beat Joe Foreman, but then Joe Foreman he came back and he had to climb his way out of the fucking gutter. He had 11 fucking fights. So the next title he knocked Michael Moore in the fucking the early 90s or the late 80s. What does that show?
I just want to see how he would really fight without cheating.
No, he climbed the ladder. He beat all the.
I'm gonna just say it. Dude, someone's gonna say it. I'll be the guy to say it.
Muhammad Ali beat Joe Foreman, but Joe Foreman he came back and he did like 11 fucking not title defenses, but like where he had to climb the ladder in an era where people were like they're fighting for fucking scraps. Then he became the oldest heavyweight champion. I'm talking about Joe Foreman.
So wait a minute, Gonzalez.
He lost 2. That means a lot. That bridges the gap.
Let Chief go in.
They'll pick up somebody else's technique, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. If you're a smart guy, that's what you do. So can you imagine if Sugar Ray Leonard looked at Loma and he saw those angles with his hand speed and explosiveness, and he said, let me try those angles that he uses. Not exactly like that, but I'm gonna do something
similar.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something similar to that, bro. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. When you comparing these, remember, you gotta evolve them too. And then if you want to go backwards, then you gotta disinvolve them. I guess a little is the better. I don't know if there's
but then you have to recognize.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean.
People haven't put a perspective yet.
I'm so happy right now.
Ali did not do well against Southpaws, even though he beat him. Look at Carl Mindenberg, who was not a puncher and a plotting fighter, and bent him over with body shots and had him staggered on more than one occasion. Now you put in a guy like Usyk who can do everything. Styles make fights. This is something to be considered. You could take him from then to now. He his work against southpaws is still his work against southpaws, and that's not going to change in this era versus that era.
Usyk would have been.
What about when Ali fought that grappler? He fought a real grappler, and he, his team was making a bunch of rules during the fight and shit. You guys remember that?
Noki?
Yeah,
the Japanese guy who laid on the floor. He dropped on the floor. He actually busted
They said that he couldn't clinch. They said that he couldn't clinch or grab him, and they were making a bunch of rules as the fight goes on. So he's like, well,
you know what that was about, dude? You know what that was about?
Yeah, that was about Ali being a coward.
No, there was rules that they talked about when they first.
Go back and check.
Dude, I lived it. I remember when it went on. When they first met, dude, what happened? I've also seen special on it. The promoter was an idiot. He was a wrestling guy. He let them talk about what they would do to each other one time, and then they never met again. Never wrote up in contracts. So the night of the fight, the Japanese guy's like, "What do you mean? Of course we can clinch. It's wrestling." And Ali said, "Like, no, man. When I first took this fight, I said I'm not going to wrestle. What is wrestling? I'm a boxer."
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
No, I know. I'm just saying. So that's why
he said no one can beat him, and that he's the best in the world.
Oh yeah, the whole thing was supposed to be like a fucking joke, like a choreographed professional wrestling type of thing. And that Japanese guy, because he thought Ali was brash, and he was, and he did cripple him too. He fucked up Ali's knee. For real.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Imagine if he was allowed to clinch on him and grab on him.
Of course, kick him in the leg, fucking hit him with elbows and shit.
MMA guy.
At all.
Hey, by the way, let's hold on quick. Super chat from Vadi V. Thank you for your super chat. He says, was PED use prevalent amongst boxers during the Ali era, or did that start in the 80s? Jimmy, you probably know this.
In the 80s, for sure, in the 80s. In the mid to late 80s.
Could have been too.
Especially.
Hey, speaking of Ali and his kids, what do you think he would think of Nico Ali Walsh?
They bring in the whole family after the fight. They go into the ring. They're like, oh my god.
You know what I liked is when he said he's wearing Ali shorts.
Look, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He's fucking crazy. He's a crazy guy. But I still love Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. But that does not fucking taint what I know about Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. That does not fucking change my mind. I love Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Whatever his son do, that's his son. That's not the father.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, so nobody thinks like that. Like nobody.
Huh? You know when you say hot, when you say hot, that's what I think of, Gonzalo. When somebody says, if somebody says to you, fighter who has the greatest heart of all time, my head almost always goes to like fucking Cesar Senior. That fucking dude,
Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward.
But I think when it comes to Chavez, man, he was in so many big wars, with his face gashed wide open, and he just never stopped
because he's one of the toughest men. He's one of the toughest men of all time for that division. He's one of the toughest guys.
He was. Yeah, he was. Oh, he was a bad motherfucker, boy.
He's a bad. I think he will walk Loma down. I think he will beat Loma up. In my opinion.
Oh yeah. No, he would have been too tough for prime, too big too.
At lightweight, he definitely would. Yeah, junior lightweight. That's kind of a difference because
Orlando Salido and Jose Luis Castillo, they're just fucking sparring partners for the great Julio Cesar Chavez.
Salvador Sanchez would have beat all them guys at 126, 130.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
He got the wind. I don't know. That guy. I don't know that guy. Say again, Sobers.
Would you die for Chavez Senior? Would you kill for him?
No shit.
No. Me and my brother. We pulled him up on the fucking OXXO, like the Mexican store. Like I know Julio Cesar Chavez Senior. Like I met him many times, but one time, me and my brother rolled him up, and we said, "Oh, sorry, we're joking." And like my brother, he throw a fake body shot, and the dude he flinched. He made him flinch, Jose.
You punked him out?
No, he's a legend, dude. He's a bad motherfucker. Ain't no punk Julio Chavez in my life.
Got a question for the panel. I got a question for
Never.
Panel and BD,
I love
BDA Buccio and I was talking about this earlier.
My brother was
We know you do. Now, the question for the panel.
Hold on. Let's get a question from Chief. Chief, go ahead.
You and I were talking about this earlier, Buccio. Chavez and Shane Mosley at lightweight.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Chavez.
I'm gonna go with Chavez, man, but
I think maybe
a lightweight in the title fight in the sanctioned title
Mosley
fight?
at lightweight was insane, though. Go look at the guys on your chat.
was a monster, bro.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
135, Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley might have.
He's a bad guy.
Would have given Duran a problem. He would have given him.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Chavez versus Duran at 135.
My thing is this: when it comes to Chavez, if it comes down to two guys that talented,
Hold on, Gonzalo. Oh my
Gonzalo,
God.
let somebody else talk for a change.
Gonzalo, Jimmy was talking.
Jimmy, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say if it comes down. Oh no.
Sorry, Jimmy.
No problem, brother. I understand. I would say if it comes down to the battle of wills, like Mosley's that talented, he could win rounds. It's just when it comes to a battle of will, it's hard to go against Chavez because he was just one of those rare humans, man. Fucking.
Hey, I'll ask everybody. Do you guys think Chavez? Well, he never did, right? But pull off no mas?
Never.
No, because he didn't train. Because he didn't
He
train. He was
did top out against Oscar de la Hoya.
No. He didn't quit against De La Hoya, man. Come on, that was.
No, he was old, dude. Go look at his fight.
Hold on, Larry.
By then he was. Listen, by then he was
Luis
fighting.
Ramirez, Camacho, fucking Julio Cesar Chavez got a great resume, dude. His taxi driver's nothing. Look at his resume. Fucking what do you call it? La Puente. You know, La Puente was a bad dude.
No offense, but half his resume is a bunch of.
You know who La Puente is? La Puente.
Someone's got to say it, man.
Homie, La Puente.
Half his resume is a bunch of unknowns.
Well, I mean, you're clowning me, but I'm
not clowning on you, Gonzalo.
I'm almost 50 years old, motherfucker. I'm almost 50 years old.
Okay, so the point that Alex was making that people like to try and point out is that he didn't fight a lot of contenders coming up. He had a very glossy record over a lot of unknowns, which is true. But he was. Hold on, I'm not done.
No, Gonzalo, no one's making fun of you.
No. You want to clown the great Julio Cesar Chavez fucking record?
I'm not clowning on him. I'm just saying the X factor.
Did I even get to finish my point, Gonzalo?
Tony the Tiger Lopez. You know Tony the Tiger Lopez, Chief?
All right, let's keep it. Let's
keep it hundo. Let's keep it hundo.
Okay.
Well, if I get to finish my point, I'll keep it hundo.
Chief, go ahead. Chief.
Don't get so feminine on me, man. Like I got a delay. Don't fucking do that to me. I'm a man.
We get it.
The delay's got nothing to do with you talking over everybody.
I don't fucking care, dude.
All right. Let's hear Chief. Chief, go ahead, please.
Okay, so
debate me, man. Debate me, motherfucker.
All right.
Well, I have to debate now, don't I?
Go ahead.
That's what I thought. Okay, so the beginning.
Bible thump on me. Bible thump. Those are the fucking words.
Jacoma Chocha. I know a little bit of Spanish too. I don't know what it all means, but I know it's not pretty.
What? That was not Spanish. Let's just say that.
That was weird. No, man, that was weird. He's a weird motherfucker. I said, throw the Bible thump to me. Fucking pray Jesus Christ, like Ryan Garcia. I don't give a fuck. I'm colder.
All right. Let's get back to boxing. Let's get back to boxing.
All right. The Bible of boxing. Boxing chief.
Right.
What was his name? The Radar? The guy that fucking beat Duran easily. Who was that, Mucho? The Puerto Rican guy.
Esteban de Jesus.
No, Esteban de Jesus. He was the one that beat the fucking shit out of Duran, but Duran took it. You know what? I recognize. I watched last night. I watched the 3 fights last night. That's how much I love boxing. Last night I watched Esteban de Jesus versus Duran, the 3 fucking fights.
You know Esteban de Jesus came up from
last night. He
Wait. Last night?
And he hugged them. But in a time where people didn't know anything about AIDS, he hugged him. Duran is the man.
Wait, Gonzalo. That was last night, though.
Yo, Gonzalo.
Well, yeah. I was bored, and I love boxing. Boxing is my fucking life. Boxing is my life. Boxing is my life.
Jimmy, go ahead. Jimmy.
No, I was just going to ask Gonzalo. I just kind of a joke. I was just going to say, you were just making jokes about, Bible thumping. But when you were over in Iraq and people shot at you, did you ever make any promises to Jesus?
No, because if
you get me the fuck out of here, dude, that'll be good. I know. I was just saying, there's no atheists in foxholes. I was just making that. You know what I mean? That joke. That's all. I was just being funny. That's it.
I'm infantry.
Hey, I just apologize, Butch. I just want to apologize officially to all the bitch-ass motherfuckers that I offended, all the bitch-ass girls that I offended earlier. I'm sorry I upset you, okay? There you go.
All right,
especially Bucho.
Smoke? That's not a real apology.
I think Bucho will piece your ass up, dude. I think Bucho will piece your ass up.
Bucho wears a skirt. Bucho wears skirts.
I'm glad you realized your mistakes, Niraj. I'm glad you realized your mistakes. I'm sure you had a smoke.
I know, yeah. I underestimate how emotional some people get and triggered so easily.
What do you mean? You came in here emotional.
I didn't boot people. I don't boot people and ban people.
You're talking over people.
All right, Mirage. Welcome back. All right.
Yeah, Mirage, you're always a fucking troll, man. You're nothing but a fucking troll, Mirage.
There you go.
You're a snitch. You're a snitch.
Hey, don't Mirage. Don't strap no jacket on me, Mirage. You don't make accusations like that. Unless you got fucking some black and white on you, or you don't toss those terms around.
Te vamos a tirar la basura atrás del pinche puente, negro Durazo on the fucking garbage pail. This dude is fucking stupid.
Gonzalo knows what's up. He already knows what's up, bro. When you come back, to San Diego, dog, I already got you, bro. We'll go to Negro Durazo, fish tacos, mariscos, beers on me, Gonzalo. You got it, bro.
Oh man.
Mirage is nuts.
I'm kind of dangerous though. Like I cannot.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink with Gonzalo.
They cannot be seen anywhere. I'm just like I got a hit on my fucking head.
And also, I want to say one thing, BDA and Bucho. So I just found this out, and I really hope, because I do like to listen to the show from the outside. I like to spectate when it comes to this show. I respect this show. But I do, however, want to say is that I don't want to credit Ryan Garcia, and I don't want anybody associating him with being raza or Chicano or Mexican.
Yeah, we get it.
He hired a Spanish tutor. If your parents don't teach you Spanish, or if you didn't grow up in your neighborhood, in your barrio, wherever you're from, or your grandparents aren't teaching you Spanish, you got to hire a tutor.
Hey, háblanos en español, güey. Háblanos en español. Háblanos en español para
decir speaking Spanish don't make you Mexican.
Well, okay. Well, it doesn't make you Mexican, but do you know Nahuatl? We obviously don't speak Nahuatl, right?
How about this?
We're known for being known for speaking Spanish. It is what it is, bro.
Hey,
but today,
Alonso, let me say something.
I don't care about the boomer propaganda
like that, bro. I'm not trying to say you're supposed to know, like.
I don't care about the Mexican boomer propaganda. Can we move on to boxing?
What the fuck?
We'll just say, we'll just
I'm saying it's embarrassing.
You know what?
I'm Spanish.
Not really.
Jimmy, you know what? You know what my biggest mistake is? Jimmy, you know what? Because I'm not a nice guy. That's my biggest mistake. I don't give a fuck.
All right.
Always take advantage.
Jerry Springer here.
I just got a notification from ESPN.
That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to keep it boxing.
Officially out of Raza.
OJ, hey, Bucho, rip OJ. That was
oh
an
yeah,
evil
the juice.
motherfucker.
What happened to the juice? The juice is gone.
Dr. Phil out or what? We expressing our feelings here. What's going on?
I don't know.
Speaking of OJ, real quick, you see that crazy bitch on CNN? Get on there, that black chicken on CNN say, well, people are associated and related with OJ because he killed white people.
No,
she said that today. I swear to God, on CNN.
Okay, man.
They bashed all day, but they really said that. I'm like, wow, they just have no filter.
All right.
But Frank, let me say,
yo, fuck Teddy,
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong
Teddy
with
is
the
a
man
king.
expressing his feelings. There's nothing wrong with that.
Teddy is a king. He isn't fucking king.
There's nothing wrong.
What is going on?
I don't
even know.
Am I in the Twilight Zone? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
It's the Dr. Phil hour.
Hey, guys, I'm gonna ask Gonzalo.
There's like 3 conversations happening at the same time.
I already asked this question before, all right? So here's a question. Guys, I want to ask it again.
Yes.
Who's feeling the hype for the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight that's coming up? Who's feeling the hype?
I am.
I feel it.
Absolutely.
But check it out, Bucho.
Oh my God, this guy just started conversation.
Hey, wait a second, bro. Hold on, bro.
Let somebody, people talk, motherfucker. Shit.
All right.
There's like 8 people in here. Yeah, wait. There's 8 people in here. Pull let somebody else talk.
You're gonna let him talk to you like that?
Oh God.
You are. Go ahead. I'll get it last.
Go have a
Bucho
cigarette.
don't talk to me like that.
All right. Who was talking? I don't even know.
Full TV and Boxing with Frank Day were saying they were hyped for the fight.
I'm hyped.
Let them expound on that.
It's a big fight, whether you like it or not. If you don't like Ryan, you like him.
Don't try to clown me.
All right, Gonzalo.
Shut up.
Chill, man.
Anyway, it's a big fight. I mean,
shut up.
It's a big fight. It is, if you like Ryan, you don't. It's still a big fight. And I think if you're a boxing fan,
what is going on?
Gonzalo, there's a huge Gonzalo, you have a huge delay, man. It's like 2 seconds, man.
Gonzalo's coming back like body shots. He's coming back like body shots, giving you a little delay.
Guys, Gonzalo is, I don't know where. I don't know.
This guy's trying to disrespect me.
No, Gonzalo. It's just you have a huge.
You're disrespecting everyone else. You're disrespecting everyone else in here right now.
And if you understand that,
if you know you have a delay, then go on mute, bro, and let someone else talk.
He's so angry that his fucking wife.
Why are you jumping in? All of a sudden?
All right.
Exactly.
Because you don't listen to nobody else. So just chill, kick back, bro.
Let's all chill out, and let Frank go in. Frank, let Frank go in. Frank, go in.
You better bet the knee.
I think it's a big fight.
Jesus, I'm gonna have to use my phone, man.
Calm down, Bucho.
I mean, to be honest, I'm more excited about Estrada and Rodriguez, Bibble, Betterby, Usyk, Fury, Munguia, Canelo.
Yeah,
all those fights over Haney and Garcia, man.
I definitely agree to that.
It's dude. If Haney doesn't dominate this fight, he's got some questions to answer, because Ryan Garcia is like the most distracted, just drifting fighter I've ever seen in the lead up to a fight. This guy's so fucking distracted.
Maybe that's the impression he's trying to give people. Maybe he's completely focused.
No, bullshit, dude.
He's in the middle of trying to get Andrew Tate out of fucking Romanian prison, so he's making calls. Dude's got.
I'm saying the big picture with all the topics and all the save the children and all the rape shit and all the devil shit and the God.
How do you know it's not real? It could be real.
He's banging the Bible. He's getting tattoos all over himself. He's
look. He got P. Diddy already, right? Look, P. Diddy's he's in big trouble. Ryan predicted it.
Are you saying that Ryan Garcia got P. Diddy?
Did you hear Ryan when he talked about how P. Diddy got Haney's his butthole?
Yo,
wait, hold on.
Southpaw TV, somebody wrote a comment. Go ahead, Sobers.
Okay, did you also hear when Ryan Garcia tried to take credit for that collapse, that bridge collapsing like the Mothman?
He says he saw it. He didn't say he caused it.
He said he called it. He said he predicted it. He said his tweets were being deleted, and he said, I don't know exactly what I said, but I'm pretty sure I saw this coming.
I think he did predict it, but he didn't cause it.
That's just a case of fucking someone wakes up and jerks off at his fucking Instagram follower list.
He doesn't have that ability yet. Not yet.
He's in love with his own fame. That's what that is, man. It's fucking with his brain.
Freeze.
Anyway.
Hey, freeze. I'm a freeze. You want to know something? You want to know something, Freeze? I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy.
Brian is king.
I'm a bad guy. I'm a fucking bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
You're an asshole and you're rude. Cállate, güey.
No, you're just fucking living in Georgia, and you're fucking like whatever, motherfucker.
Hey, bro, you live in the jungle. Hey, bro, you live in the jungle in the Philippines. You can't wait. You can't wait.
You can't wait. You're a fake. You're a real Mexican. Yes, you are. But
yeah, bro, 100%, bro, from Michoacán.
I'm not even talking to you. I'm not even talking to you.
Say hello to the bad guy.
What? I'm not even talking to your fucking
I'm going to carve
Sobers, don't start that push-up shit. Don't start with that dropping 20 shit.
Like, come on, guys, like, just fucking stop it.
I can't take
Gonzalo,
it.
por favor, cálmese.
Carve you out. You
dude, just fucking quit, dude. Like, come on, motherfucker. Like, really, dude? Really? Fucking never saw was really, dude.
Gonzalo, por favor.
What's going on? Hey, is he still talking to me? I haven't said anything for like.
Gonzalo, that wasn't never sober. That dude who said that last shit wasn't never sober.
But really, Gonzalo? Yeah, really. Hey,
that's never sober, right? Fucking there.
Yeah, that's me, fool.
But the dude who called you an asshole, that wasn't sober.
No, but you don't understand, Jimmy. You don't understand.
Oh, okay, I was just talking about. I thought that's what you were saying because the last person who said that shit pissed you off.
Have you guys talked about the weekend fights?
Squabble?
What recent fights? Tell us.
The weekend fights. Is there any?
Jerry Anderson. I always listen to Recognize. This is kind of like a West Coast thing. Because from the East Coast, like, I don't know nothing about them, but I never question, recognize fucking who he is. I love that guy. Like, never mind what you think about me, dude. Like, I'm a fucking man, dude. And never sobers. Like, you want to be Gonzalo?
What's up?
Wait. What about me?
What about me? Like, you're fucking freezing.
You're freezing, yeah. Who wants to be freezing?
Like, I will slam you to the fucking pavement, dude. I'll fucking beat your ass up.
There you go. Hey, wait, why do you think I want to beat you, bro?
Gonzalo,
you want to be Gonzalo?
I'm gonna pick up Eddie.
Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do something like that?
I'm gonna eat
I'm not recognized.
Why would I want to do something like that?
I'm not that guy. Recognize
here. Hold on. Here, I can be Gonzalo. So look,
you can.
When you're punching, hold on. Wait. Let me cook. Let me cook. Oh, hold on.
You already made it.
Look, when you're punching, you may land if you land first, but also while punching, you have to be punching at you, and you may get hit first. So when you're punching, you may have to move to the right. Bear in mind, your opponent could also counter that. So that's the boxing game.
Right, and then you got to go on for like 30 minutes straight and not let anybody else talk.
Let me elaborate.
I like that.
Let me flip it. Let me flip it.
Believe it or not, fucking never sobers. I fucking I have respect for you, man. Like fucking whatever, dude.
But we're talking shit. I'm gonna talk shit to you. So yeah, no llores, way. We're good.
Hey man, I like Gonzalo's takes, man. I like them. Gonzalo, you do your thing. But you know,
I like Gonzalo's and Sober's takes.
Well,
I don't like any of you.
That's because he complimented you.
You think I don't like? You know who I don't like? Julio's. I can't stand Julio's.
Julio, I don't even know what
I got great takes, bro. I'm Food TV, bro. Food TV.
I got you.
Fugazi TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I'll
he's
make
talking
that
about
up.
Julio.
Well, I was listening to
My bad.
BFTV, and I don't like his takes. He rescored the Lomachenko and Haney fight, and he had Devin Haney up on Loma 7-0.
What? Hey,
I'm not lying to you. BFTV rescored the fight. He had Haney up 7-0.
What's the name of his channel?
BFTV Boxing. It's like 2 lives ago. Or like he should be titled BFTV Boxing. He's the guy that said he was willing to kill for Wilder once Wilder asked him if he'd kill for him.
Jeez.
And BFTV
Is he the one who called him?
yes,
Wilder called him a soldier. This isn't war. He called him a soldier. That fuck. Yeah, dude. He fucking dude. He's got funny charges. I heard. So let that sink in.
Hey, Jimmy, we were talking about
he does have charges.
Devin Haney's father and how he's all militant now. And do you think that's because of the LDBC? He's showing up on all these channels.
Oh, of course. He started that post. I mean, started that before Lomachenko fight. He became a regular. Like he was a regular on with 78 Sports. That racist queen, whatever, who laughs about people stabbing cats. I mean, just insane. Who went on those crazy, I don't want these white motherfuckers to think they got something over on us.
Yeah, he was going to them little LDBC barbecues and events.
Yeah, dude, like straight up. So why do you think, I think he coaxed his kid into saying, I'll never lose to a white boy. I don't think, honestly, for some reason, I don't think Haney really wanted to even say that because it was like his father egged him on, and then you heard 78, talk that shit, Dev. Like they wanted him to say that. It was fucking so cringy, man. And then Lomachenko, his little ass, his 135-pound, short little arms, took your fucking junior middleweight ass to school, had you sitting in the corner asking your father, what should I do? Hanging on for dear life. Hitting body shots that affected Lomachenko not even a little. Loma pushed the pace, landed the more telling shots, the better shots. That was a fucking Vegas up-your-ass robbery. And they're fucking so disingenuous when they talk about it.
And apparently, Haney landed 1 million body punches.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, all of a sudden, they love body shots now. They count them now.
Yeah, they count when they're hitting Loma in the arms too. Think about it. Though all those body shots landed on Loma, he would have slowed down.
Well,
that's the pace.
I mean, that technically is a body shot if it hits your arm.
Boxing dog, the body
No, listen, you are right, Mark. It can be scored as a body shot if it hits your arms. But I'm saying for effectiveness. Obviously, the ones that connect on your rib cage are going to affect your body, your legs more. A lot of those shots were glancing off his arm, so I'm saying they weren't even effective body shots. They were scoring blows. But
when your arm gets sore, it is effective.
Jimmy, who's one of the best body punchers in the game? Mickey Ward.
I am.
Yeah, he was awesome, man.
I love it. I love the fucking body shots. I love the body shots.
Do you love them, though?
Love it.
He dug him in, man. I'll tell you, he dug him in like nobody's. I think he has the junior welterweight. To this day, still has a junior welterweight.
You really like those body shots, don't you?
I love them.
What the hell?
Dude, how many times that fucking fight, that punch got him? I mean, he was losing fights. Fucking 9 rounds to 2 because some fucking slick motherfucker was up on his toes all night. And Mickey just prodded. Fucking, you seen it because he always puts his palms up. Because when he puts his palms up, like I was telling BDA that they were talking shit on the side, but when he put his palms up facing you, he did that to distract you because what he was doing was moving his left foot into position, and then he would throw a fucking right, not a hard one, and the left not hard at the top of your head, and then he would sneak that fucking one right under behind your elbow into your liver and push your liver into your spleen, and you were fucking. Whoa. Yeah, Tyson fucking used to go to all his fights. This is when Tyson was at his absolute zenith in popularity, where like the media was chasing him around. He would show up, come in the back of casinos to go see fucking Mickey before the fights, man. He always, man, your fucking body shots, kid. He fucking really liked his body shots. Yeah, because he worked on it.
Hey, guys, in the chat, Iparakua says Usyk soft to the belly. And this is something Frank Warren also said. He keeps saying that. Is that something Fury can exploit or should exploit, or what do you guys think?
Well, Fury's Warren's saying that because his fighter's the guy who fucking supposedly knocked him to body, which nobody ever talks about the fact if the ref would have said body shot and say he went down, he would have jumped right back up.
I would say I've only ever seen.
We don't know that. We don't know if he would jump back up. He looked fucking.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. I've only ever seen Usyk drop. I've only ever seen Usyk drop by a. You know what I mean? I never seen him take a shot.
AJ hurt him to the body.
So if you're looking for something to say where he's susceptible, you know, something that's possibly susceptible, because he's been drunk.
What about? I think he got rocked by Breeders, didn't he?
He took the whole 5 minutes on the body thing or whatever that time was, because a minute into it when he said, "Okay, I'm ready, let's go." No, the ref, which was the bizarrest thing I've ever seen. Oh. No, take the fucking minutes. Take the minutes.
Yeah. Jimmy, I was like referring
I've
to
never seen a fighter take the full 5 minutes for a shot. Apparently,
I was referring to his whole career because he's been.
Oh no! I was talking. I'm sorry, Mark. I was responding to, Jesus Christ, the man down under, Vegemite sandwich.
No, I was just saying though. I think he got rocked by Breeders, or am I remembering wrong?
He could be. Probably remember better than I do. He could have.
No, he was rocked definitely by the final. Who was that guy?
Whitaker?
No, the final.
The thing is, I don't know anybody who does it
in the fourth round. He hit fucking Usyk and hurt him pretty bad.
That's probably what I'm thinking of.
Very, very few guys can actually take it to the body. You know what I mean? Because it's the sit-ups. Everybody always skips on sit-ups. They never really work their abs like they should. Their abs and their neck. Those are the two things that are most fucking strenuous, and a lot of guys always cut corners on. But you see the guys hanging upside down on a corner, and dudes are sitting there whacking them. Fucking hitting them in the stomach with the medicine ball. You can tighten up your abs, man. Yeah. Ideally, you want to have a wall. They should be always fucking super tight, even when you're breathing. When you're breathing out. Because if you get caught breathing out, I don't care who you are. You take a shot in the river, you're going down.
Well, that's a good point. In the chat, Let Me Ace says anybody can get hurt to the body, and he's laughing. It's true though. I mean, maybe people are making a big deal out of this Usyk getting dropped. I mean, it was a low blow, so.
No, I just want to go back to that Haney thing. Borderline. Like hitting in the arm can be effective because it'll affect your punches in the long run of how you swing.
Yeah, but if you're causing like what Canelo was doing to Bivol, he was hitting. It was actually starting to cause hematomas in his arms.
Yeah, exactly. It is effective, but like I don't think Haney was doing it effectively.
Yeah, he was. Well, no, what it was, he was ass out. He wasn't putting all his weight over his front foot. He was his offense was conducive on how he was going to get out, but defense, he fought that completely on how not to get hit. Everything he did was to not get to hit. That's why he never came forward. He never pushed the pace. I mean, yeah, that was fuck. I couldn't believe it. Especially a little guy like that, to rob him of that victory was just fucking disgusting.
Boxing, and I did bring it up. I told you guys, what if Loma gets robbed? I was like, what if Loma gets robbed? You guys are forgetting the politics.
I thought you predicted he was going to get robbed.
Man. No, not me. I had.
Of course, it was a robbery, dude. He won by fucking. At best, Haney won 4 rounds. At best.
I agree.
I had him winning 5 rounds.
But even that,
robbery is when it's blatant. Robbery is when it's blatant.
Yo, I've seen the first time I seen it. All right,
blatant.
The first time I seen it, I saw it drunk, and I haven't gotten drunk in a while. I scored it for Haney, but I was drunk, and then I rewatched it. No way he won that fight.
Yeah, and then
look how many
if it's not blatant, then how come so many professional fighters made a point to stop to media to tell them it was a robbery? And that's the word they were using.
A lot of them changed their mind when they rewatched it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Shakur Stevenson did.
No, he didn't. That's the bullshit.
You know what?
Haney lost. Everybody said Haney lost.
Everybody, every fighter who was there that night said
Shakur. Jimmy, Shakur seems to start getting a lot of heat in the chat because he said Lomachenko won, and they go, "Oh, wow, you a traitor." Oh no! Now I'm gonna.
The reason why I thought Haney won was because, like, I was drunk and I wasn't really, my vision was impaired, and I didn't see the fact that Loma was parrying a lot of his shots.
Yeah, he was doing so close and tight. Yeah, a lot of his punches, unless you see
Haney's jab. He took away Haney's jab. That's his best. Exactly. He took away Haney's best weapon, which is a jab. And Haney, that's what he relies on. He needs a jab. If he don't have a jab, then he can't plot. He can't just sit there and be comfortable.
So in the end of the 7th round, he went to the ring and he was so dejected. He was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I know. And then they laughed at Lomachenko. They were laughing at Lomachenko fucking crying.
I just want to know.
Loma was able to time his jab, slip it, and land a left hand.
I just want to know
when he figured it out.
He gives up the last round. He took it off and then he cries.
I just want to know, does anyone know if the judges...
What's up?
I just want to know, does anybody know if the judges can still drink while watching the fights?
They're not supposed to. They're supposed to drink water.
Well, Jimmy...
I just want to say, going into that fight, Vegas had Haney a 2-1 favorite. Going into the 12th round, because you can bet at each round, the beginning of every round, Vegas, the same people had it right up there. If you went to the Vegas page, Haney needs a knockout to win.
Yeah,
that's what they said. Every single fucking fighter who made a video, who talked to the press, even the guys like fucking Crawford, who was there voting for Haney, said, "Yeah, man, fucking Loma won that fight."
Almost every round was a very close swing round.
Okay, all right, recognize. Sorry, but you can say that.
You're in the minority. You're in the minority.
You're in the minority. Also, listen.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait.
No, what round did you give Haney?
I don't know from memory. Fucking wasn't that exciting. I had it like 7-5, 8-4 Haney.
That's all I had.
That's all the rounds were quite Lomachenko.
That's literally what I had the first time I seen it. But
Lomachenko likes to steal rounds. He fights amateur style. He fucking waits and then he puts it on the last 30 seconds. Everybody goes, "Oh, yeah, he won that round." He
changed the mind.
Tricks you guys,
dude, you know what takes this away, dude? You know why you're disingenuous?
Because the night of the fight, interruptions.
Well, the night of the fight, you said Lomachenko won, so now you change your story.
I was drinking, I was fucking having some drinks as well.
I was drinking too. How disingenuous! The night of the fight, he was Lomachenko won that fight. Now all of a sudden, dude, you said
Wait. How did you have it opposite of me, Mirage? I was drinking and I thought Haney won the fight, and then when I rewatched it, like not intoxicated.
I think I just gave Lomachenko too much credit for the flurries and when he hurt him like in the 11th round, 10th round.
Yeah, how many times did Haney hurt Loma? Not even
Did you
once.
actually watch the fight, Mirage? Be honest. Keep it
he doesn't have to hurt him once. No, he doesn't.
Did you watch that fight, Mirage?
Yeah, I watched. Yeah.
You did. Yeah, you listened to it.
We know the real reason. The real reason is a lot of people. Haney's disliked, Lomachenko's liked. That's a bias built in.
It was a fucking. It was a dude. That was exactly, dude. That was Haney's. That was Haney's hometown. That was his crowd. Even one of the fighters said.
Community. I'm talking about.
What about when Keyshawn Davis, who's friends with Haney? Keyshawn Davis said he made a live on Instagram after. He said, "Did you see that? Lomachenko went in there and took his fucking town away from him. He beat that boy so bad he took his town." Hey, yeah, he love him. Yes. Wait a minute, no, dude, now you're wrong. Keyshawn Davis was there as a fucking Haney fan. Keyshawn Davis and Crawford were there as Haney fans.
Bro, you make
They're friends of Haney. Yeah, so you talking to me, dude. Listen, you're in the fucking minority. 273,000 fans took a combined poll. 78% said Lomachenko won. Every single fucking professional fighter who talked about it, every credible member of the media said fucking Lomachenko won. But you're saying he lost.
No, hang on.
And you're saying it smugly. You're saying so that's what's even great.
You can say Lomachenko won, but I'm saying it's not a robbery. That's what I'm disagreeing. You can say he won, but calling it a robbery is Lewis fucking Holyfield. It's fucking so many other.
A robbery is when there's a clear winner and they don't give him the fucking fight.
If you had $5 in your pocket right now and you're walking down the street and I punk you for the $5, is that a robbery? Yes or no?
Bingo.
What?
Yes or no?
Do you enjoy asking dumb questions? Does that get you off?
I mean, you get on the Discord saying dumb shit.
No, do you have an argument or you don't have an argument? So this was
robbery is a robbery. What did we gangster for fucking $1,000 or $5?
You could have scored it 8-4, and all of a sudden now you're saying it's not a robbery. So if a judge gives it to Lomachenko, you would say it's not a robbery, right?
No, I wouldn't say it's a robbery.
Then you have it 8-4. I don't know, man.
Because so many rounds.
Notice he's ducking my question.
So many rounds were fucking close. They could have gone either way. Like you're acting like Lomachenko just went in there, put a masterclass or something.
Listen, and if you knew about boxing, dude, what about ring generalship? What about fucking setting the pace? What about
Jimmy, mention again what you said about Haney, what he was saying to his father in the corner, remember?
When he sat down, he says, I don't know what to do.
Score a fight?
Hey, remember? No, that's not how you score a fight, but you got to remember the observation here.
If he said I got him kicking his ass, that's so easy. You'd take his word.
This is where Haney was asking. We need to go in here to kick your ass, Mirage, because you're a fucking idiot, dude.
Hey, can I say something? I just got on. Listen, Mirage has no credibility. He was on fucking Ring IQ, and he said Lomo won the fight. Now he gets on here and says he has no credibility. He just likes to be a contrarian, just to fucking ruffle feathers. He doesn't know shit. So shut the fuck up, Mirage. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You have no credibility. So just you guys shouldn't even talk to this idiot.
You guys have a good night. With a robbery himself, bro.
Yeah, he's a fucking clown. He just wants to argue and get attention. He, like Jimmy said, he's disingenuous. So go on Ring IQ and talk some other bullshit, because we all know you're a fraud, Mirage. You have no credibility.
You feel better now? You let it all out? You let it all out? You feel better?
Yo, Mirage, I'm still waiting for that receipt that you bought that pay-per-view. Where's that receipt at?
Oh, it's coming, man. It's in the mail.
Well, listen,
it's in the mail.
Let's talk about guys who probably know what they're talking about. Here's the guys who scored it for Loma, right off the top of my head. Shakur Stevens, Terrence Crawford, Keyshawn Davis, Sean Porter, George Linares, Blair Cobbs, Jermaine Ortiz, Jared Anderson, Paulie Malignaggi, Abner Morris, Dennis Blair Cobbs, I sent him in. Fernando Vargas Sr. and Jr., Joe Calzaghe, Robert Garcia Sr., Jr. and his brother, Oscar De La Hoya, fucking Tom Loeffler, Steve Kim. I can go on and on and on. Fucking Aram said right after the fight, dude, you won that fight easily.
Jimmy, add to that list Mirage too, evidently, because
exactly.
Add Mirage. Yeah, he's a flopper.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
But that's how look, man, even Haney fights in the Floyd, he tries to set a pace, and if somebody could upset it, Floyd had a lot of matches people thought he lost just because that style and that pace is just maddening. It's let me pot shot, let me grab. It just they want to kill the action. So
that's an illegal style, by the way.
One of the things about guys like Haney and Floyd is that their styles actually aren't that fast. They're very sluggish. So you can actually see it. Well, I'm saying is that you could see every punch that's thrown. When the guy like Loma throws a punch, he hits you with 3 and you don't see any of them. You could barely see them. They're not very showy. When you slow it down is when you see it.
Exactly.
That's the difference. It's an illusion.
That's when a lot of those old ass fucking judges can't fucking see anyway. You're sitting with Coke glasses looking around the referee to try to see shit. It's such an archaic way to judge a fight.
Loma would shoot in and hit him with a straight left, and he would fucking rock him, and you wouldn't even notice until
because that's why I said he had time. Haney's jab. He took Haney's jab away. He was stepping around, and then shooting. When Haney tried to shoot a jab, he would shoot the left because he's a smaller guy, so he was able to get up inside him. And then in that 10th round, all you need to see in that fight is the 10th round where he had him up against the rope, busted his lip, busted his nose, his hair was all over the place, his dad had no answers. It was a massacre. I don't know what these guys are watching because that style's awful. We seen Floyd Jose Luis Castillo busted his ass up against the ropes doing the same thing. These guys' style is they try to hypnotize you, slow it down, and make it just a boring fight, and then everybody calls them good. Loma upset everything. So I don't know what these guys watching.
Does anybody think that Garcia is going to be able to put that kind of pressure on Haney? I just don't.
Yeah, he had Tank.
It's possible.
He had Tank shook. Watch the second round.
Winning this fight.
He did have fucking Tank shook. He did have.
He might have moments. Yeah, he has moments. He has moments where he can do it.
Yeah, that's true. He did come forward against Tank.
Tank is hard. Tank is harder to hit than Haney. Haney's not as hard to hit. So I think.
I think Ryan's gonna hurt him. Sure,
And he
he's
hit
gonna hurt him.
and fucking his hands are fast enough. That's what makes his punches so dangerous. You don't see that check left he throws. You just don't see it. You know, if he catches you and you don't see it, and we've seen that punches when they hurt Haney have a lasting effect. We saw that against Linares. He got rocked in the 9th, walked out into the corner fucking stiff-legging like a drunk walk, and then he come on. He spent the next 3/4 of the next round literally hanging on for dear life.
I can tell you how Haney's gonna counter his volume though.
No, I know. It would have to be
he's gonna either jab or he's gonna clinch. I wonder how many clinches are gonna be in that fight.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible.
I think people are underestimating Garcia. They're saying it's a complete mismatch.
What?
I don't think it's a
going
complete
for
mismatch.
Garcia?
No.
Garcia?
Haney's the favorite, but it's not a mismatch. I think he's
well,
a
here's the
live dog.
thing. Here's the thing. What I see. This is the first time Haney's not going to have a sizable physical advantage. His whole career is built on weight bullying. I'm gonna be a 135er and be 4 weight classes above you. I'm gonna be 140 pounds and be another 3 weight classes above you. This is the first time he's facing a guy that obviously is stronger.
He's still
you know what Garcia needs to do? He needs to go back and use his jab like he did in the first 2 rounds against Garcia. I mean, against Tank. He actually Tank, you could tell he wasn't expecting that because he's usually in that K stance, dropping his left and he's prodding at you, sliding his back foot behind him. But then he started out snapping a left and using his height. If he does that on Haney, but the key is he's got to be able to transition from when he gets something hard to fucking from that stance into his regular stance where he can throw power on his left. He's got to make that seamless. And if he can do that, he could be fucking dangerous.
That kid's left hand is so good that he can knock you out by accident with it. That's what he did in his last fight. You saw his last fight, Ryan?
Yes.
He basically rocked that dude with that by accident. He threw the left and the dude was just finished. He just finished him off.
Yeah, Haney,
I think
he hit him while backing up. He hit him walking back with that left hook. So he's going to need stuff like that versus Haney because Haney's going to press forward. I don't think he's going to try to just box Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan came out and fucking he came out and talked down the promotion. Well, the guys selling tickets, they must have been really happy. Come out and say the tickets are way too expensive. That's kind of fucked up.
I got a question for you guys. If Haney and Ryan fight,
should away.
If Haney and Ryan fight and it's a competitive fight, let's say it's 6-6, a draw, will they give Haney the win?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, why? They went 3-3 in the amateurs? Because they went 3-3 in them. Yes, of course. I was like, no duh.
They'll give it to him because they love they rather Ryan's already got a loss in his record, so they'll have no problem taking it from him.
No duh. Remember that expression? Jimmy, no duh. That's an expression. 3-3 in the amateurs.
I don't think it's gonna be that hard of a fight to score.
Come on, dude.
Both these guys.
Like, comments. Peter.
Gonzalo.
What's happening? Sounds a little like Nicki Minaj over here. Or whatever.
I don't even like Haney. I was saying against Lomachenko, but I don't think Haney's that good anyway.
Peter. Let me grab you by your fucking polo shirt. And there's a fucking come on, Peter. What's that?
What are you talking about, man?
It doesn't matter.
Shut up, man. Shut up.
You big motherfucker.
People ignore the fact Haney and his
motherfucker. Hey, Peter, I love you, motherfucker.
Bucho, shut up.
Shut the fuck up, Peter.
Shut the fuck
Guys, we gotta end. Brother, I love you too, man.
We gotta end the show. It's been 4 hours. All right.
I don't got hate in my heart for nobody.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. All right. Jesus, that was chaotic. All right, guys, on YouTube. This was open on Friday. I think it was like 3 hours, almost 4 hours. So thank you for being on the show. We will see you next time. Have a good night.
Warning. You are...
Listos pe los chingazos! Listos pe los chingazos!
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head.